We are. We are. We are live. We are live. Okay.
You know, I used to like this manga site that I've been using for like years, but now it's just like there's like more porn on there than there used to be.
Oh no, not
And
porn.
I don't get it. Porn and just like dumb manga.
All right. Well,
So I was like, oh, my evil uncle is my lover CEO.
It's a lucrative business, my dude.
Being an uncle that's a CEO, that's evil.
I think so. Yeah.
That's definitely not what I meant, but definitely what we're gonna go with.
Okay. So everything looks good.
Or how about I became the male lead's adopted daughter?
Does
Like-
someone want to quickly jump in the stream, or if anyone's watching
I got it.
as
I'm
of
gonna
yet,
definitely
just let
have
me.
a conversation with Jason.
Yeah, just let me know how the music volume is. I just want to nail that.
Oh, I will talk so Logan can go and look at the music volumes, so I don't have to.
I have everything
so I'm
set
gonna
up here. Why do I feel
talking.
like I feel like I'm missing something? What am I missing?
You're missing soul.
Let's start with this. So this is the map we're gonna turn into. We're gonna reincarnate, which is what somebody on Reddit said. I put like in my first post I put like incarnatize or something. He's like, what about reincarnate? I'm like, oh my god, it's so much fun. Why didn't I think of that?
Sounds good.
Okay, good.
Joel, I think you could. How close are you to your microphone?
I don't know, like 8 inches. Why?
Nothing. I think you could probably stand to have the mic a little bit further away.
You know what? Fuck you.
I mean, you don't need to take my advice.
Perfect. All right.
All right, I'll give this another listen.
It's probably fine. Let us begin. Wait, who's texting me? Who's texting me right now?
On the Discord side, it sounds fine to me. So
Okay, sweet.
But it
Awesome.
might not sound. But there might be a difference on the stream. So I was just stating that. On my end, at least, you sound fine.
No, it sounds fine. It sounds fine.
Okay,
Everything's
cool.
fine.
Everything is bon. So, I'm just gonna go ahead.
But it could be more bun.
More bon. I'm just gonna throw down like a. Whenever I do like an indoor map, I throw down like a background, just like base like gray color. That not black because it's too dark, but like gray color. How do you use this again? Oh my god. Okay, there we go. So yeah, New World.
Yeah, September 28th, 11 days.
Is it really? Oh my god, it is.
Yeah, that soon.
Is that too dark? Nah, it's not too dark. It's fine. Okay. So I had this one 5 wide before. Let's do walls.
Ooh, apparently if we pre-order, we get some bonuses.
Oh really? Well, I mean, we're likely gonna get it anyway, so probably end up pre-ordering.
Well, let me see. Hold on. Pre-order now for bonus content. Isabella's amulet.
Dwarven. I like the look of dwarven stone walls.
Isabella's amulet to gain additional constitution to weather attacks and deal additional damage against certain types of supernatural enemies. Unique title. Proudly display your Expedition 1 title. I think I saw people with that. You get a fist bump emote and a guild crest set.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, 3 unique guild crests featuring axes, muskets, and armor. That's cool. Okay.
I need to find the middle of this screen. That's about the middle, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Sure.
sweet.
Sure, close enough.
Yeah, right. And this needs to be 5 wide. Oops.
Oh, I saw something on the D&D subreddit that I wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I haven't read it yet, but the title got me. The title is just "A player ruined our campaign," and I'm depressed about it.
Oh my god. Yeah, wait. Dungeon
so
Viper. I'm using Inkarnate. I probably should put that in the... Oh no, I put that in the title.
It's in there, Inkarnate Pro.
Inkarnate Pro. So this is there's a free version, and this is the non-free version. Yeah, the original map was made in Dungeon Draft, which is a good program, but it's not as stylish looking.
Not as robust.
Not as robust. Not as stylish looking. Easy to make, really cool maps, but
and Dungeon Draft is free, right?
No, it is not free.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, Inkarnate is free. Okay, so this thing...
But you don't get, like, all the stamps and all the things.
Yeah.
I did check it out. Like, you get a lot of stuff, and I'm sure with the free stuff, you could make some pretty cool-looking maps.
Oh, yeah.
But the paid one, I mean, judging on what Joel has made, I would recommend it. Not having used it myself, I mean...
No, it's yeah, I can also recommend it. It's very, very good.
Based on the quality of like the tile sets that he has access to, just the as you'll see, as he goes through making this, just the visual fidelity and quality and detail in the maps that he has been able to make with Inkarnate has been a massive step above what he was doing in Dungeon Draft?
Dungeon Draft, yeah.
I haven't used any program. I don't know functionally.
I think that I'm just gonna put this at 100 and just do something like that.
But no, functionally, I don't know how they compare to one another. All I know is that, as a player, results-wise, I am quite impressed with the stuff that you've done with Inkarnate.
Yeah, and it's Inkarnate. It's so easy to make, like just good maps. It's really, I can't really take credit for the maps. I just kind of use their tile set and put everything together.
I don't agree that you can't take credit. Like, I don't know, like, yeah, they give you a bunch of pieces, and, you know, you don't literally draw what's there.
That would be like if Da Vinci didn't take credit for his inventions.
Well...
Did you just compare me to Da Vinci?
Yeah,
I suppose that might be a bit of an extreme example.
He's being called the Da Vinci of map making.
Of map making?
That's the one. I think what I'm gonna do...
7 minutes in and Joel's already drunk.
Yeah. Am I gonna make this... I'm not gonna fuck up the scale of this. I might move this all just down a little bit because I really don't want to run out of room. Let's just start.
Can you make it bigger if you run out of room?
Like the canvas?
The canvas, I don't know. Maybe? I feel like you can, but I don't want to risk it. So I'm just gonna put this down here because I know I'm going off a map I've already made and I'm using the same dimensions, so it should be fine. I just got a little scared. So I'm just gonna do the outline of everything first. I think that's the easiest way to do it, and then I'll do the details after. It's so hard to start a map, I think. That's what, like, I think one of the hardest things to do is just get it started.
Well, Joel, I got good news for you. The map is already made. You're just making it better. So you don't actually ever start it. You're just continuing.
I guess so. Do I want to? I might. Or do I?
Okay, this D&D post was less interesting than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah? It's not
well, no, basically, this is this guy's first full campaign. He's only ever DM'd. The group was all on board with wanting to play up to level 20. A few days ago, one of our players, him and his partner both play in the session, brought up that his partner would like to DM their own campaign, where I would be one of the players. I was excited to try playing as a PC since I've never done it before. He then told me that I should wrap up my campaign for around 10 to 12 weeks while the other player DMs. Now, we hadn't talked about this, and seeing as how I'm obsessed with DMing, I don't think I could go that long without my fix. They explained that the session is already being written, our characters were written for us beforehand, along with the quest lines they would go on. To me, this isn't D&D. There isn't an ounce of collaboration if we have no say in what we do.
Oh, no.
I asked if we could create our own characters instead so that it would be a group effort.
No.
Well, apparently asking this was too much for them, as the two of them said they would no longer play my campaign if I don't do this, effectively holding my hobby hostage until I agree to a 3-month non-collaborative campaign.
Wow.
Fucking what?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So here I am with so much work gone into my world and fun plot hooks for each player that I'll mostly have to discard. And then there's an update. Thank you for all the nice words. I was incredibly stressed out. Yeah, so it looks like he just found a new group, which is what most of the advice is calling for him to do. He's like, dude, your players sound toxic. Like, just don't play with them.
Yeah, that's pretty horrible. What am I doing here?
Yeah, don't do it. Don't sacrifice your own fun.
That is way too big.
And then, yeah, these other people are saying, like, so it doesn't sound like they're actually wanting to play D&D. They're playing, like, a pre-chosen story, which isn't the game.
Chosen one?
You think it is, but it's not.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
Like, you're forcing somebody to act out a fantasy novel they've written.
Yeah. You guys are gonna love my novel.
Oh, and then, so the OP responded to one of these, and he says, after talking with them, they literally said, I wrote a story that I want to tell, but I'm just using D&D to tell it.
I have been in that campaign. I don't ever want to be in that campaign again.
Well, no, because there is, like, we talk about hide the rails. Like, you're literally, like, strapped to a, like, what are those carts that are on rails that you pump up and down? Like, you're literally strapped to that.
I don't know the name for them, but I know what you mean.
It's a rickshaw.
Is it a rickshaw?
No, it's not a rickshaw.
Okay. I mean, it could have been called a rickshaw. I'm just trying to jazz up this central area with some angles or some like round shit. Because like it's too boxy in the original. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's that's funny.
Yeah, like I fuck. So
yeah.
I genuinely don't understand. I don't understand people who like I'm sorry, I'm struggling like that point of view specifically. Like, I wrote a book, I just want to tell it through D&D is the most fucking I don't know if asinine's the right word for it. It's just fucking dumb. Like, why? Why would that be what you want to do? That's literally the opposite of what you should want to do.
A funicular.
Like, it's just so fucking. I don't know, like
of relating to or resembling a rope. Hey, Talmaru, how's it going? Thanks for joining us today.
Here's the thing about people like that, and I've seen it many times. Like these people are playing D&D, but they don't actually want to play D&D. They don't know it, but like they literally don't want to play D&D.
Oh, there you go. A funicular is a form of cable railway which connects points along a railway laid on a steep slope. Well, you're right.
Like a tram.
How not to funiculate your players?
Yeah. I'm gonna funiculate you in about 2 seconds.
I know you are. What is this? This is 9, I think. 9. No, 8.
Yeah, like these people that are like this guy in that example. Like, I wrote a story and I want to use D&D to tell it. It's like, there's probably like just write a novel.
Well, it's literally I think what it is, and whether they're consciously aware of this or not, it's that they want an audience to flex their writing skills on. That's literally what it is. They want to force people to and see people's live reaction to their fucking novel. And that's literally what they want.
That their novel that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
I mean, as a DM, like, I get it. I get that you want to have like this really cool like story and everything. But like that's just like, the players got to have fun. Like,
yeah, and these people aren't the type that would accept when the story goes off the rails.
Oh,
like,
no.
Like when somebody wants to do something that's like obviously, like players don't do what the DM will expect. That happens, and the DM likely would go in a word, oh, you can't do that. Like, I'm gonna try my fucking hardest to get you to do the thing that I wrote is going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
pro tip, that's not fun.
I literally one of the second DM that I had a campaign that Rob and I were players both in. I believe Rob's wife was also playing with us, and that's exactly it. Is that like he had a clear story that he was telling, and there was no room for us to do anything, and he quite literally had like the zero trope grabbing us by the hand and dragging us through his linear narrative. Like we literally had not an all powerful, but a really like way more powerful than us character escorting us to what we were doing.
Yeah.
Oh, like an NPC.
Yeah, like an NPC.
Sounds fun.
He literally had his OC, his badass cool OC, dragging us through his campaign. And when we tried to do anything contrary to what he said, and didn't take his thing super seriously, he would, like passive aggressively say stuff like, "Oh, the gods don't like that." Like he and
God,
it's just
that's such a fucking oh, the gods are angry with that decision.
Yeah. And it's just like,
God.
I just wanted to address what Telmaru said, but yeah, you can write a story and use D&D to tell it, but just be aware the players will change the story. I mean, yeah, that's basically what I do.
And that's the fun part. The fun part is the players doing stuff, and the story just naturally happens, whether it's, stories with the characters or the overall story. Because, something might happen, or a player might do something, and the DM might go, oh, that's a great hook. I'm going to use that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the trap that a lot of DMs fall into is just they are so in love, like, oh, I've got such a cool story idea, and then they're so locked in to doing that they aren't going to bend, and you need to bend over backwards.
Yeah. No. Well, and actually, Telmaru is also bringing up another point. DM has to agree to give the players agency. The players also have to agree to play along to some extent, and
it's an unspoken agreement.
It's and I agree, and that's the whole thing with having like a good group dynamic is you have people who are like, hey, like, you have DMs who are willing to let the players have agency with their characters and like do what they want, and like you never control what their character does, but at the same time, as a player, you kind of got to go to where the adventure is pointing you. Like if it's very clear that the DM has prepared in a certain direction, don't on purpose. Like I can't think of a better word, but don't deliberately,
purposefully,
don't deliberately go in the opposite direction from stuff that they've prepared. It happens sometimes by accident, which is whatever, that happens. It's
what do you mean? We've never done that.
We have 100%.
We've literally 100% never done that
all the time.
I know.
By accident though. It's like, yeah, we don't mean to. It's 8.
But yeah, it's as I've said before,
6.
D&D is there is this unwritten agreement, and what players and DMs need to realize is that at the end of the day, like, you're not playing against the DM, which is something that a lot of players will feel. Hey, Astral. You're not playing against the DM. The DM is not the big bad end guy. You are all working together to make a cool story and have fun.
Yeah, like you're speaking my language now. Like I always maintain that it's not player versus DM. No. Like it is not like, oh, who can kill the other guy? Because it's like, as a DM, I can kill you very, very easily.
Joel, if you wanted us dead, you would
be dead
in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, rocks fall. Like
you're dead. Yeah.
Like
the inn collapses due to shoddy workmanship.
Yeah, you know what? Like let's talk about that quote there for a second.
Your job as a DM is not to kill your players. It is to put your players into situations where they get themselves killed. Yes.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Gary Gygax. I think I've heard that name before. I don't know where though.
Just a guy. Just a regular old
The guy
guy.
that fucking wrote Tomb of Horrors, that piece of... Yeah, no, the guy that wrote Tomb of Horrors said that. That's bullshit.
Well, that was like a thing. Like, that was its own thing, right? Like,
That was... Yeah, your job as a DM is not to kill your players. It's to write situations where they have no possibility of surviving.
oh, man.
What an asshole.
So, but
Shout outs to Gary Gygax.
God rest his soul.
And I'm woefully ignorant of who Gary Gygax
He literally
invented D&D. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, actually.
That's okay.
Well,
I mean,
no. I when you say that, I'm not like, oh yeah, sure.
I'm not gonna be one of those people like, you don't fucking know who Gygax is, because it's like,
he invented tabletop RPGs.
Yeah.
Tabletop RPGs.
Yeah.
Was D&D the first one? Maybe.
I believe so.
Tabletop RPGs. Is that true?
He codified D&D. He did not invent table. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh, that's fine. Get out.
Logan in here spreading misinformation. I'm woefully ignorant on the history of tabletops.
Invented by Gary Gygax.
My interest is not.
We should change the name of our stream to Woefully Ignorant. The Fungeon Master story.
That's not bad.
I
mean, I'm writing that down.
That should be the name of our podcast.
Yeah.
But no, like I respect the crap out of D&D, and it like looking at D&D and enjoying like the history of it and the rules of it.
Big on strat.
All of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Oh, come on, I can't flip this whole thing?
Oh, you can't mirror it?
You.
No. Better put Inkarnate in the trash.
Yeah.
No.
I have nothing but respect for people who are into D&D for those reasons. I'm personally not all about that. Like I don't. I find it kind of interesting to pore over the rules and all of that and study, or not really study, but just kind of look at what's available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm not like Mitch or a lot of other people who, they really enjoy that aspect of it. And I'm not like super into like the history of it and all that. Like, it's cool, but it's not like left on my own. Like, I don't look up D&D stuff or tabletop stuff when we're not in tabletop mode.
Yeah,
like, the
same.
enjoyment,
I don't look it up ever.
The enjoyment I get out of D&D is the aspect of collaborating with friends to write cool stories and do cool little adventures and all that, right?
So you guys can help me write my novel.
Actually, you've literally already written it.
Okay, actually, saying that is actually something that I will say is that, don't try and turn your novel into a D&D adventure if you're unwilling. If you're unwilling to allow player agency at all. However, if you do a D&D campaign and game, and after, by all means, turn it into a novel.
Well,
I'd love to read it.
If you have a cool idea for a story,
I have an idea for a movie.
Testing it there. I am very strongly of the opinion that anything can be done and can work as long as thought and effort is put into it to make it work, to not just make it to make it good. So if somebody is like, I have a really cool idea for a novel and I want to test it on my players, that is perfectly fine, provided that they do it properly. Like I've said before, the way for one, you by no means railroad us as players, Joel.
Never.
But as I've said before, you do tell a fairly linear story.
Yeah.
And we, as players, because we enjoy the story that you're telling and we respect you enough to, respect the content, we play along, as was mentioned before, you have to, on some level, as players, play along with what the DM wants. Like, if your adventure is starting out in a bar and somebody comes bursting into the door, desperately gasping and saying, "Oh, there's trolls on the trade route or something." Like that's your call to action as players. Like that's the start of your adventure. You should probably, even if you're not particularly keen on dealing with that, play along and go and deal with that.
Yeah.
But like you do your very fairly linear stories, but one, you do react pretty heavily to us depending on what we do. Best example is in the space campaign.
Yeah.
It's such a easy and clear example of that, because normally, you do have a fairly clear idea of what the beats of the story are going to be and where we're going to go, what's going to happen, and where we're going to end up. And that's perfectly fine, specifically because you, for one, you get the gameplay that you provide is a D&D sandbox, and you're flexible. So again, we go and fight a rebel base, we end up sneaking into the captain's room, and then we're just like, what if we join you? We want to be space pirates. And you're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like, without even thinking about it. You didn't have that planned at all, as far as I'm aware.
Nope.
Not that I could tell as playing it. I thought you legit. If you would have said that was your intention, I would have completely believed you. And if you would have said that, you made it so we could go either way, I would have completely fucking believed you, because of how you handled it. Had you, I don't know, it would have sucked had you said no, or the guy just absolutely was not okay with it. There are the odd moments where it's clear that you want us to do something, and it's not necessarily perfectly going to line up with what our characters want to have happen or whatever. But that's inevitable, I feel, and that's fine, because the times that happens is so low, right? I don't know.
Hey, Radar!
Hey, Radar. What's up, man?
My day is going well, yes.
My day is going better now that I'm not in the rain all day.
Yeah, for sure.
I can spend basically the entire day outside pulling wire through a run of cable that I'm pretty sure had about 6 90-degree bends in it.
Oh, no. That's the worst. Electrical code? Who needs it?
Yeah, a code. Oh, they're more like guidelines.
That's another 4 there.
But
yeah, I know, right?
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
I should have taken a picture of this JB that's in one of the one of the electrical. So like box fill.
Yeah.
Forget it. Just forget it.
Forget about it.
Like it's literally like exploding out of the box. Like I don't know what the fill on an 8x8 is, but it's like at least 3 times over.
Oh no.
And it's getting inspected, so I don't know. Like I don't know what's going.
Is it though?
No, it is. It is gonna get inspected. I'm hoping Pete knows the inspector and can just be like, just forget about it.
Had a decent day. You got rear-ended on your way to get groceries after work. There was thankfully minimal damage to the car and I wasn't hurt. Oh my god.
That's good.
No, good that you weren't hurt, not good that you got rear-ended.
No, I know, it's good. Obvious. I know, thank God you got hit by a car.
I'm not surprised Logan would feel that way.
Yeah, Logan's kind of a piece of crap.
I've been rear-ended. It sucks.
Yeah.
I spilled my coffee.
Did you ask them to get you a new coffee?
No, she was crying. I'm like, just leave.
Fuck out of here.
I got her to give me her number, but then like it's nice. A tiny dent. Like I didn't fucking that was my plan.
I'm kidding. That's ridiculous.
That was my plan all along.
Just leave. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I just realized most of this stuff is on layer 0 and I wanted to put it on 1. Oh well.
Is there an easy way to change that?
Yeah.
Select all, copy paste.
Select all.
Literally.
Yeah, let's try that.
There we go.
Yeah, that worked. Perfect. You can see that I'm kind of like changing the style a little bit. I wanted to have less like jagged edges and more round stuff. So
yeah,
going with that.
I can definitely relate with the being pretty shaken though. I've been in a few like fender benders and it's fucking nerve-wracking every time. I've been the street right in front of my house is like really busy, like double yellow, or I think it's a single yellow line, like busy street.
Yeah.
And like I live on the opposite side of the road of where you come from to get like coming home from in town, sorry, like I have to cross the line, or I have to like drive way up the road, turn around, and come down. Nobody does that. And so, it's a busy road. I have, stopped and rear-ended somebody there, and I have rear-ended somebody, and I've been rear-ended there, and every time it's like, it's the worst. Like, there's just,
It's just a hassle.
Well, it's not just a hassle. It's nerve-wracking, right? Because it's so outside of the norm of what happens, and it's like, oh God, is this going to be a bunch of money? Am I going to get in trouble with this, that, or whatever?
Are they gonna come out of the car with a tire iron swinging?
Yeah. No, it's just If you want the curve to be smooth there, Joel, you should maybe just have the lower one stick out just a tiny bit.
The lower one? Oh yeah.
Yeah, like have it be the same curve piece. Just have one of them, moved over a little bit, and then have a bit of a straight thing that connects it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I could even do a little bit more. Oh! And these walls are killing me. Don't worry, I'll make this look beautiful eventually.
I have no doubt that you do.
I will do it. Oh, I don't have this lined up at all. Fuck. Never mind. Ruined. It's fucking ruined.
Oh no.
Oh.
I am going to BRB for a few minutes.
How dare you? Don't leave me with these people.
I'm sorry. I'm leaving you with Logan. You guys can talk about electrician and stuff. It'll be
fine.
I
don't want to talk.
Joel doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about electrical.
You gotta relive your past.
No.
He's gonna take you back to the past to relive the shitty jobs that suck ass.
Wow. That was pretty good. I'd rather have
a journeyman. Yell at me for no fucking reason.
Yeah. Pretty much. Why does that look so fucking weird? Because it's like weird right there. Gonna lurk while playing COD. It's like the new fishing simulator or something.
Yeah.
That'll be alright. I can't make this look good, Logan. That.
I mean, how you had it originally look. Well, okay, put that there. Take that tiny little 2x1 out.
This one?
That looks okay.
No, but like right here it's too wide, right? See, it's like it's way too wide.
Okay.
I don't know how. How do I do this?
Okay. So what about taking? So that bottom larger piece, or the bottom piece, like the bottom.
I'm just gonna try this. Like I'm gonna set this down as a thing, like that. That's what I want to do. I want to get down to another. How much room do I have?
Why don't you?
Should be enough room. And then. No, that's not the one I gotta use. I'll get this. Don't worry.
Here's another good one. A cautionary tale. The flying character.
Where's Jason?
Yeah. Maybe I'll wait for Jason.
I think I gotta do like very specific angles, I think. Get this to work. Oof. And some straights as well.
I think flying characters sure can be OP, but like flying is dangerous.
Like, I mean, we've had target. This. Yeah, we've had this discussion before about like Mitch and I especially have had this. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. About
flying characters, and it really all comes down to, are they abusing their power?
Mm-hmm.
If no, then don't worry about it. If they are abusing it, then yeah, maybe it's a problem. This is too wide here. I'm gonna try and keep this too wide everywhere, which is gonna be very difficult. This does look weird though. Doesn't that look weird?
Yeah. So basically, the post just talks about just like, oh yeah, flying characters can be tough to sort of deal with. And then the first comment, or one of the first comments, is, I mean, there are always things that certain characters and classes excel at while others don't. Rogues run into this problem with stealth. Being the knight is great and all, until your tin can of a fighter or paladin gets spotted immediately. Good players and good groups find creative ways to help each other out rather than just saying, well, I passed, sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
Most players know not to split the party. Very true.
Most.
Or like,
hey, I've split the party to good.
Yeah, but you you engineered that though, and it worked.
I guess that's the DM splitting the party.
Yeah, and then this guy goes on. Hey. Oh my god, I have to eat a meatball.
Eat a meatball.
Ooh, this smells really good.
I was eating a meatball.
Nice. It's not dry. Nice and moist.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Logan, your mic is on.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
I will mute myself temporarily. Good luck dying out there.
Now I'm all alone. Great.
Well, just figure something out.
I'm trying. My full attention is taken by this staircase that is looking all wavy and wobbly. I don't know why. It looks fucking weird. Oh well. How's it going, everyone? Let's put this right there. Oh, that needs to be down. No. Swell. That's good. Oh, if I change that, everything gets changed, but... No, not the height, the width. Just want it to be lined up kind of like that. That? Like that. Oh, a little bit more. Boop. There we go. Okay, so that's the basic idea. Looks a little weird up there, but I'm not really gonna worry about it just yet. Or am I? I might have to worry about it. Is it just gonna take a couple little tweaks, or I think no matter what, it's gonna look kind of bulgy. A good arc story, like the game arc, the popular video game arc. 2, 3, down and across. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, yeah. I will try my best to regale that story. Logan was also part of it, so once he is back, he can probably help me.
Those were delicious.
Hey, look at that. Apparently we mentioned to Astral last podcast or sometime about our Arc story.
Like the Arc the game?
Arc the game, yeah.
A specific story?
Well, remember the last time we played, like we had the soul-crushing experience of like, you know.
Oh yeah. So basically, what happened is, it was primarily me, you, and Eric. Aaron was there as well, but it was mainly me, you, and Eric.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the standard Arc experience, you know, and I power game on a lot of games. I didn't power game on Arc. just kind of just more like chilling out and just kind of just casually doing whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had a decently sized base, like a beginner's base. We had a a bunch of dinos that were tamed. We had some flying ones.
We had an amazing base.
Eric had what was the huge the huge pteranodon flying one he called the Enola Gay.
Oh, it was like Quetzalcoatl or something.
Yeah, it was a Quetzalcoatl. He called it the Enola Gay, which is the one that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima.
Yeah, that was a interesting choice of.
It's fine. It's just a plane. So yeah, Quetzal. That's right. And so yeah, we had a big base, and it was we felt like pretty fairly decently confident, and then we tried to fight just like a Tyrannosaurus.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
So way outside of our wheelhouse.
So what happened was basically like these alpha monsters kept showing up.
Alpha, that's right, yeah.
Like alpha raptors, whatever. We're like, oh yeah, no problem. We had like those claw guys who were super beefy. We had alpha raptors of our own, just a bunch of stuff. Awesome. And then on the beach near our base, we noticed an alpha T-Rex hanging out. We're like, oh, interesting. So we're like, okay, well we've fought alphas before. We've got like an armada of T-Rexes, so let's take this thing out before it becomes a problem. So we went down there with like, I don't know, like a dozen dinosaurs. Like we came loaded for bear.
We came out with basically everything we had.
And like immediately, like how like text comes up when someone dies or you lose a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Immediately I just see text just like, Spiffy has died. Has died.
Yeah,
like
this dino has died. This dino has died.
It's like, oh my god. And they all just started dropping like flies.
Yeah.
And it was very disheartening.
So we basically lost all of our dinos that we had trained, and we just got we didn't even come close to killing this thing.
No, it didn't. I don't think we injured it.
No, it destroyed us entirely, and then we didn't play anymore after that.
Yeah, we were like...
I think, Joel, you specifically were, I think, more disheartened than the other two.
Well, Aaron was like, well, should we make a new base? Here's a river. And now it's just like, you know what, guys? I'm fucking done.
Yeah. And just, I mean, yeah.
Like, we proved our point. We proved our point.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we had played it a bunch. I feel like I got my...
We had like a volcano, like mining setup thing. Like that was cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had like a good. Yeah, it was a good. Yeah, it was a good little. And we played that for like a few solid weeks.
We had like a production. Like things were. Things were good.
Yeah, it was a decent run.
And to be fair, like none of that stuff was destroyed. Oh, what am I doing? Nope.
No, it was just kind of, it was just such a stomping that it gave us that it was just kind of. Yeah,
I think the main base got destroyed. Wasn't that what happened? It got
no,
like a.
I don't think so, man.
I thought it like went in there and destroyed like because we had our dinos that we brought out to fight, and then we had our tamed ones that were in the base, and I swear that it destroyed those as well.
That might have, but I don't remember that. And I do remember that whole thing happening pretty clearly.
Well, otherwise we wouldn't have had to make a new base, because that was the thing I remember Aaron saying was, well, there's a base just down here we can take, and it was like by the river or something. It was like, let's make a new base by the river, and I was like, you know what, guys, I'm done. And that was literally the last time I played it.
Mm-hmm. So I can't wait for that to happen in New World.
Yeah, right? I am dramatic. That's why I make such a good DM.
Yeah, pretty good. Joel can be dramatic.
Can I?
When it's warranted, I think.
When it's warranted?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, usually you're pretty level-headed. I think I'm more dramatic than you. I don't know.
You're a pretty fucking dramatic guy. Who's screaming at people. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just adding these little blocks. Kind of like the look of them.
Like pillars?
Yeah, just trying to get these, because where these pieces connect, it kind of looks a little bit weird. So just trying to get some little connecty boys to add some little variety, you know?
So yeah, 11 days. What's everybody gonna be maining in New World?
Yeah, who else was gonna get it? Like Jason's getting it.
We should all try to roll on the same server. That'd be fun.
I think so. I think I told One Up. One Up was getting it.
Oh yeah.
To join our server, because he's in the Discord. He'll know.
Yeah.
Did I do that on the other side? I did. Okay. What's this? Oh, thank you.
You know what I wasn't expecting in New World? I mean, I wasn't expecting much because like I literally forgot it existed until the open beta happened. I was kind of surprised and pleasantly surprised that you could like jump up and like climb up on stuff. I always love that as a feature.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's
buy once, no buy once, no
buy
monthly
once,
sub.
yes, yeah.
There will very likely be microtransactions.
Well, I think
I'd be shocked if there wasn't.
I think they said they were doing microtransactions, like cosmetic and did they confirm that they were gonna do ones for like
boosts and stuff?
like XP boosts?
I don't know.
Like I don't really care about that too much, as long as they don't. I know they are obligated to make everything a grind if they do that, but if they don't, and the XP boosts are just for people who have like literally no patience. What am I doing? Why is this?
Oh, here we go. Are there cosmetics, or sorry, not cosmetics, microtransactions in New World? First sentence: Amazon Games is dead set against pay to win.
Well, I mean, yeah, they can say that. It's easy.
Apparently, the focus of the store will be cosmetics. We do not want. Wait, who's fake? Creative director David said we have definitely heard the feedback from players, and our focus is we do not want it to be a pay-to-win experience.
Well, there you go. That's okay. That's good to hear. I really like.
The emphasis of the store is on cosmetics at launch, but the devs believe there's room for quality of life improvements that won't cross into the pay-to-win territory.
Oh, here we go.
Well, no, like quality of life, you know, like maybe like, you know, increased stash. Storage,
oh, David.
You know? Yeah, like, I mean, like, whatever. Like, that's fine. We won't know until we see it anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Oops. What just happened?
Oh, yeah, like, Lord. Yeah, literally. In the future, players will be able to purchase things like additional storage. Yeah, like, exactly, you know? Like that's fine. Like, whatever. If people want to buy for, you know, extra storage or, like, I don't know, like, maybe a way to access...
Maybe mounts, like Neverwinter?
I don't think mounts will be in the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if mounts are
I think they specifically are not going to put them in. Which I'm fine with. Like, whatever. Yeah,
I'm interested to see what they're going to do about the scaling. That's the thing, is the multiplayer scaling is like a big thing that people are talking about.
Yeah, that's my main question.
Yeah, it keeps the world large.
Yeah, exactly. And the world is like pretty big. Like it was pretty sizable.
Well, I think it also keeps like people who don't have mounts, like sometimes in like WoW, when someone has a mount and they run by, like they're gone. Like you can't really like do anything to them. Like you can't have like a PvP battle because they're fucking gone. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's just what I think.
Yeah. It keeps everybody more on the same page, and I think that's going to be a big focus, is keeping everybody kind of, you know, roughly equal. Roughly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What if I just throw in a bunch of these fucking things? Will that fix my eyesore of a map?
Yeah, probably.
Let's see. Oh my god, that made it better.
Keep throwing things in until it doesn't look like garbage.
That's normally what I do, actually.
Yeah.
Putting these fucking things down until, you know, I'm happy with it. Beginning is tough trying to get the layout here. Trying to... Trying to make it look good.
Has anyone tried to make Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, or Othello into quests for D&D? Huh.
I'm sure someone's tried. It's been,
the Romeo and Juliet quest could be having the players rescuing a prince so he can abscond with his lover, but using the sloth from a doppelganger to imitate the prince's corpse so his lover doesn't kill herself, but fool his domineering aristocratic vampire clan. Okay, I feel like he's strayed from the source material slightly.
What do you mean?
I don't think Romeo was part of an aristocratic vampire clan.
You can't prove he was.
He definitely was.
Hey, Jason's back.
I apologize.
You better.
Has anybody made Twilight into a tabletop?
Probably.
I would genuinely be shocked if there wasn't a Twilight tabletop.
Well, I mean, there's Vampire the Masquerade.
Basically the same thing.
Or wait, no, is that a LARP?
What? No.
It's a video game, isn't it?
It's all. It is a video game.
I said game.
The
something wrong with this fucking hallway. It's driving me crazy.
I can't remember what the world for that is called, but no, the Vampire the Masquerade is definitely a tabletop and has been for a very long time.
Did it come out of it like that? Maybe?
World of Darkness.
Yeah, World of Darkness. There we go. Yeah, no, like that's why it's called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
2 Electric Boogaloo.
Bloodlines is a song by Death Clock.
Is it? Yeah, no,
It's one side being curved and the other side being angular. I know.
It looks fine, dude.
No, it doesn't. Like Astral's
Astral
saying it looks like shit.
That is what he said. So what you need to do in order to fix that is you need to somehow. Okay, so that inner curve, that half circle.
Mm-hmm.
You need what you need to do is just duplicate that and somehow just make it like bigger, but not have it scaled up because then the walls will be bigger, right?
Well, this is just one piece.
No, I know.
So what happens if you scale that up?
It'll just be bigger.
It'll just be bigger.
It doesn't just like make the curve bigger, it makes like the whole thing.
There we go. No problem. I mean, that doesn't look too big.
It doesn't look. Yeah, that's.
Okay, hold on.
What if you made all the exterior walls bigger?
Oh my god.
That's a pain in the ass.
I can do this. Hold on, I might be able to actually make this work. Maybe. And then if I make it wider, oh, it just does the same thing but slower.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing.
Shit.
It's the same thing but slower.
So you don't have any control over making like the actual brush thicker, do you? Because it's treating that whole piece as like an image.
The control I have is either, I can change the width and height, but it's just, this is like a stamp, right?
Is there some sort of like circular hallway stamp?
Like a modular hallway? I don't think so.
So
you might have to stick with what you have. Like honestly, it doesn't look that bad. Like it looks pretty okay.
I understand why he wants to change it.
Oh no, I totally get it.
See, Jason says shit too.
I did not. I said I got.
Let's see how it looks with stairs in it. Okay.
You want it to be the other way, yeah.
What you talking about? Those are the same size. Good. Okay. That needs to turn just a hair.
Well, Joel, maybe it's this is the sign that you need to create your own map making program.
Oh yeah, I'll just create my own. That's no problem.
Yeah, just make it in Flash, because that's a new top of the line technology that is definitely not deprecated.
Yeah,
no, not even deprecated. It's obsolete.
It's literally dead.
It's literally dead. It is deceased.
It's kind of sad that Flash died too, because like Flash, like from a technical standpoint, is kind of trash, but from a creative standpoint, Flash was a really cool tool.
Yeah, you could do a lot of stuff with Flash.
Yeah.
Cool
I mean,
tools.
it's a fully featured or it has all the features it needs for you to
Why does that
create
look weird?
software.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Does that look weird?
A little bit.
Fuck.
I wouldn't notice it if we were playing, but it does look a tiny bit weird.
Oh my god, they're making a Chainsaw Man anime?
Yeah.
Fuck, I've read the manga when that was being released and like up until it ended. I might watch that.
I thought the trailer looked really cool.
Let's try
great.
that.
Holy shit. It's so funny that like I'm into this, but like my favorite manga of all time, Baki, I haven't watched the Netflix anime like at all because I just don't think it translates. Like there's something that it loses in translation to an anime that I can't describe why I don't like it, but I just don't. I love that they're doing it, and I love that it can be accessible through, like for more people, and that's great. But I just there's something about it. It's not quite it. But Chainsaw Man's cool. I'll probably watch Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely well, I mean, I don't really watch anything ever, but I look at the Chainsaw Man thing and think, yeah, I want to watch that.
Okay, how does that look?
I mean, it looks fine. Like,
That's good.
Zoomed out.
It's passable. Zoomed out, if I'm squinting and looking 180 degrees away, it looks great.
It doesn't, it's like, I can't tell what direction the fucking stairs are going, right?
So
in the middle, you need to layer them better then.
You need to layer them better because up until the one that you just selected and deleted, they're all facing the right way.
Yeah.
And then after that, you kind of have them mismatched.
Well, I want this to go down. This looks like it's going down this way.
That looks like, to me...
It looks like it's going up.
To me, it currently looks like it's going up. You can tell because
up from right to left?
It looks if we're starting at the bottom part that's on the lower, it looks like it's going upstairs.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Is that not what you wanted?
No, I wanted to go down.
So you can see the little shadow bit on the steps, right?
Yeah.
The shadow, you want the shadow to point in the direction that's facing down.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck. Oh boy, I'm just having a time.
Because now it looks like they're going down.
Okay, Jesus. Sorry, everyone.
It's okay.
It's not okay. Yeah, because there was something
How dare you make a map?
There was something I knew that was happening, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Why that was happening?
It's because it has a bit of a shadow on the lower steps to give it depth.
Yes. So that piece needs to. Oh, that is on top. Yeah.
Well, if I just line it up to the cracks here, it should be fine. I think.
So that looks fine. Yeah. Like
yeah,
that.
There you go.
Okay.
Looks fine.
Yeah, we're in there. We're in there, fam.
Okay. I wonder if I should make this middle portion flat. I might just do that. Just make it floor.
Yeah, that might look okay. Like a little landing.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Dungeon Viper.
Speaking of anime, I haven't watched Attack on Titan. I also haven't watched the anime, but I also love the manga.
I watched a couple seasons of the anime. I obviously I don't know what reading is. I've never seen a written word in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched this was like shit.
This is like shit.
Years. It was 6-7 years ago, I think. I watched.
Yeah, it came out in 2013 originally.
Yeah, I watched it when it was like 2, maybe 3 seasons.
Yeah.
The last thing I remember happening was the main character did a thing in the middle of the city. He kind of turned into a half one. I'm trying not to spoil it horrendously.
It's been almost a decade. I think it's fine.
Just in case. And like.
Okay,
and
there we go. That looks a bit better.
That looks fine.
Better.
I just need something also in the middle to. That's my blueprint. Yeah, something in the middle to. Oh, this needs to like go up a bit though. If it wants to be lined up with the other one. Oh, that just ruins everything. Actually, no, that's fine. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
That's fine.
Yeah, fuck. This is hard.
Yeah. I don't doubt this at all.
Okay. Save it.
But
Sleep it.
Oh no. But anyway, long story short, like I after the I don't know, the first 2 seasons, they felt like they went really, really slowly, and like I wasn't getting any answers to the questions that I wanted anytime fast. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna wait until the whole thing is out before I like go back to it, because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But lack of answers combined with the fact that the pacing of the show was literally it did this 3 times where it would introduce you to a bunch of characters over the course of like a bunch of episodes, and then it would spend 2 or 3 episodes just killing them all.
Yeah.
And then
it does the Game of Thrones, huh?
Well, so when Game of Thrones does it, it's unpredictable. It's unpredictable when who is gonna die.
Yeah.
And when people die, it makes a lot of sense how they die, and like it's.
Oh, these are new. Cool.
So when I was watching Attack on Titan, the way that it felt was that I was being emotionally manipulated by the fact that it would introduce to me to a bunch of characters, it would get me used to them, and then it would just kill them all. It would just spend like 2 or 3 episodes and literally kill a bunch of characters. And then it would spend the next like 10 episodes introducing characters, getting me to like them, and then they would kill them all again. And then it would introduce a bunch of new characters, and then it would kill. It was like it repeated that cycle quite a few times. There wasn't any like, oh, this character dies in this way at this point, or this character dies in this way at this point. And it felt like he was just very intentionally trying to go for that like emotionally manipulative shock value rather than what Game of Thrones does, where it's like, I'm trying to tell a brutally realistic story and none of my characters are immortal. There is very little like plot convenience or plot armor in at least in the stuff that George R.R. Martin writes.
Yeah.
At the end of the series, it's like, oh, these are the main characters and they're literally invincible. That's cool.
Question, guys. I'm trying to pick a floor for this thing, and chat, feel free to jump into. I'm gonna have to change the color of the stairs, but that's fine. I was thinking like, because this is like a crypt, right? Thinking like some sort of like dark concrete, but I could also go the tile route, like tiles. Let's see what that looks like.
What about like worn down tiles?
Really worn tiles as well.
I saw some worn tiles in there.
Well, what I can do is this. I could do them all worn, or I can do like this, right? And the grid's gonna be gone. So for that, I can actually turn it off right now. And then I grab like these guys here. Change the size to 50.
Yeah,
that's what the other one was. And then I just do it like something like this, so I can just kind of get some of them worn, right?
Ooh.
I would go with that. I would be very, very, very liberal.
Oh yeah.
How much of that you go with?
Yeah.
I would definitely. I would honestly. I would do the opposite of what you did. Start with the broken ones, and then.
Oh, and then paint the other ones.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Because you said it was a crypt, and I think going with like the stone tiles matches the steps.
Yeah, except they don't really line up to the steps, but that's
they don't line up super well, but I mean you could find something to put like in between them that just masks that, or it's fine.
Because that's what they're like when they're all broken.
Yes,
it's too uniformly. You can see the pattern immediately.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would.
So you could mask that with the normal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would paint good tiles on top of the bad ones, not bad tiles on top of the good ones.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Jason, it's so funny that you said you had an issue with Attack on Titan and not getting answers. Jason, I read the manga since it started coming out in like 2012, I think. No, sorry, 2009. I started reading this a year after I graduated.
Good lord.
And it ended in April of this year.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
With many hiatuses.
Oh, I know.
So like, talk about not getting answers. I wanted to know what was in the basement for years. Years and years and years. And it took so long to get to the basement. And when it happened, it was great.
Don't spoil it, because
I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay, I'm trying to make these just match a little bit more.
The only thing I'm spoiling is they do in fact get to the fireworks factory.
What about that? What about that for a color?
Fireworks factory at all.
When are they gonna get to the fireworks factory?
I don't remember a fireworks factory being a thing at all. So
I'm making a Simpsons joke.
Oh, okay.
There we go. There we go.
I'm an uncultured swine, so I don't get your pop culture references.
That's fine. And another funny thing you mentioned about the characters, it's just like a meat grinder of like character death. You're totally right. There's a lot of character death. It's just something that I just sort of got used to it, but like the main cast, they're kind of immune from that for the most part. There definitely are, like, I wouldn't say main character deaths, but there are deaths where like, oh, they're gone now. They've been in this for the whole thing and they're gone. And the only character death that actually like shocked me, where I was like, oh, like, wow, they're gone. It happened like 90% of the way through the manga.
Interesting.
Like after multiple time skips, after so much had changed, like the whole world had basically changed, and then they pull it. They pull like a character death. I'm like, oh fuck, that's actually like really significant.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I didn't mind that it was like a meat grinder or whatever. My biggest thing with that is pretty much that you just like it trains you not to get attached to any of the characters or care about them, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So like when I was watching it, it goes like the perfect like thing to contrast it with is Game of Thrones, right?
Or Walking Dead. To be honest, that's the reason why I stopped watching Walking Dead.
I actually haven't watched any Walking Dead, so I don't have a base of comparison there.
I just found that like they were like killing off characters so regularly, like it was just like I just didn't. I wasn't getting anything out of that anymore.
That's fair.
Like I get it. At the same time, I don't. Nah.
No, I get why.
There we go. There now it's got some floor in there. It's starting to look nice.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Oh, my screen just went.
Yeah, Jason. Once the whole Attack on Titan comes out, which the last season is coming out January next year.
Yeah.
So fairly soon. Yeah, once it's all out, I would recommend just giving it a like just power through the whole thing. It's worth it. The story it tells, I can guarantee you aren't going to expect what happens. I guarantee it.
I have some theories of what's
Jason,
going on.
I would love to hear your theories. I won't tell you if they're right or wrong. I would love to hear them though.
So the biggest thing that comes to mind when I see Attack on Titan, because the whole thing is like it's a walled off like city state thing, and everything outside of it has like the big titans running around just eating people, and they don't eat people for like sustenance or anything, if I remember correctly. They just eat them for shits and giggles.
They eat them for no reason, and it makes a point of showing and telling you that like they have a hole that goes from the mouth to their stomach, and that's it.
Yeah, they literally like vomit out the things, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and then they'll just keep eating.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's great. It's great. Titans are awesome.
Attack on Titan is fucked.
It's awesome. I love it.
It's fucked.
So, what comes to mind to me is something like The Village, that M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie.
Yeah.
Where it seems likely to me something in that ballpark is going on. Like this, like the Titans are used to keep the citizens and people and humanity within the confines of that city, and keep them terrified of them by attacking the city.
And to be clear, this is a prediction. This is not what's actually.
This is a prediction.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
For legal reasons.
For legal reasons, this is a prediction.
I'm just kind of setting it up and saying what like my guess is.
Yeah.
Or kind of like, I don't have a concrete.
It's
definitely this. I'm just saying, like, based on the little pieces that I have, this is what I think
it's probably this.
So it seems very, very likely to me that there is some force on the outside of, like where the Titans are. Like beyond that, there is very, very likely some force that wants humanity to stay contained within that city. Now, what that could be, I'm not entirely sure. It could be, they're, some hyper advanced society has built this dome and they're trying to study what people will do if they're like can't leave a very confined city or something like that. But on the flip side, the higher ups in the city seem to be in on whatever is going on. And some of the characters are able to turn into Titans, which, then turns into, well, maybe it's all about, trying to come up with weapons or something. Like the Titans are being developed as, some super bioweapons or something like that. But then that doesn't really align with like, well, then why does the city have to stay like encased in that world? There's, like it kind of, I don't remember what the initial explanation for the city and the Titans were. I don't remember if it's like, oh, this is just how the world's always been, or it was like, oh, everything was fine and then the Titans showed up. I don't remember what that explanation was, or even if they touched on that at all. I'm imagining that whatever they talked about, if they did, is nonsense and going to be completely changed by, what's in the basement or something.
So regarding like whether the world has always been like this, they do touch on that. That's like one of the first things. Yeah, it's like after the first chapter, or there's definitely a part where it's like, oh, here's the quick history of the world. Like the Titans exist outside the walls, and the founders erected the walls to keep us safe from the Titans. Yeah, and there's I don't think any of the history given is like, oh, here's what happened before the Titans. Like that doesn't really exist. At least not to the people in the story.
Yeah. I just mean like running under the assumption that there is something more going on. Like, I mean, it's very clear there's some reason why the Titans exist. They're not like some force. They're not some force of nature. That seems pretty unlikely for them to be just a force of nature. So, like it to me, it seems likely that, whatever that initial history given is going to be like, either a half truth or outright false, or it's going to be an incredibly whitewashed version of what's actually going on.
Yeah. So chapter 2, basically you're given the Cliff's Notes. 107 years ago, the entire human race, save for us, was devoured by the Titans. Following that, our ancestors constructed mighty walls that the Titans could not get over, and thus successfully secured a safe, Titan-free domain. Until the first chapter, when everything gets fucked.
Well, and I'm assuming it doesn't like give an explanation for where the Titans actually came from.
No, you don't know. That's
I'm assuming I would imagine that comes up, but I would imagine that like there isn't early on there isn't like some nonsense explanation for it. It's just Titans.
no. It takes a while, but yeah, you're kind of on the right track with that. So some of your theory is so like you're like it has like you're like you have like a semblance of kind of sort of.
I'm not surprised by that.
Like kind of sort of, but not really.
Yeah. And again, like I more have like just kind of general ideas for how the world might set up. Like it very well may be that something along the lines of the people within the city like the leadership of within the city, like they started the Titans so they can have a much stronger control on the population for whatever reason. And it could just be that they're like some island nation that this exists in, and they invented or created the Titans specifically to keep their nation like confined and as tightly controlled as possible. You know, like it could be something like that, which is probably the direction that I would lean in more than it being like it could still like the whole society outside of it could be hyper advanced, could still be a thing, and you know it could literally be like the village where you know like some people just were like fuck it, let's set up a medieval society in the middle of the modern world
in the middle of Central Park.
Was it in Central Park?
Yeah, it literally was in the middle of Central Park, which makes no sense.
Oh man. Oh geez.
Shout out to M. Night Shyamalan.
M.
Night Shyamalan.
I remember thinking that, like, again, as I said before, I can think anything can be good if it's set up and done right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everything is was in a excuse me. I think the idea of having like the fantasy world existing within some hyper advanced thing for some reason, whether it be like, they're experimenting with, you know, a medieval society or some other setup. Like there's lots of different reasons why you could have like a medieval society exist inside of like a much bigger, more advanced society. And then it being a secret to the medieval guys that, you know, the outside society exists.
Yeah.
Like that setup can be explained through a million different things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would imagine I would imagine that it goes in that direction for Attack on Titan in some degree, and I'm guessing that the stuff in the basement is going to be one of two things. It's going to be have you seen Cabin in the Woods?
Oh yeah.
One, fucking fantastic movie, and two, it's either going to be like it's going to be like a ton of like research down there that has to do with like literally making the Titans or something to do with that, or it's going to be a pathway to, you know, something like in Cabin in the Woods, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you've got some really good ideas. Yeah, like you basically have thought about like the same things I have, which yeah, you're kind of on track.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw a really great post on the D&D subreddit. I love questions that like make me think of like, what would Joel do in this situation?
Hey, the fledgling gamer. I couldn't read that. Yeah.
The fledgling gamer.
The fledgling, the purple burglar.
Purple burglar.
You've been making maps with Inkarnate? I love Inkarnate.
That's cool.
I will be the first to say.
Oh, it's a little coffin.
Yeah.
I wonder what's in there.
Hopefully dead people.
Treasure.
Because if it's empty, you got a problem. Do you guys remember this nonsense now?
I don't remember the layout of it, but I remember the ending room. I remember like the final room.
It was pretty dark.
A Fledgling Gamer, if you want to share stuff, you know, it's funny. We have a Discord.
We have a Discord, yeah. Oh, I should actually, I'll make a map. channel in the
Map
Discord. Well, actually, I already have
channel?
I have a map and pics, but it's for me to post map and pics. I can make like a community project one.
I think the last thing we need is more channels.
Well, what could be used?
I would say just sharing them in general is probably fine.
Yeah, just share them in general.
Hey, fledgling.
There doesn't need to be like a master repository.
That's true. Okay,
like,
all right.
everything.
All right, settle down, everyone.
I think a lot of our channels could just be condensed into just general.
Oh, damn.
Hey, fudging. Oh,
Look at
that looks
that thing.
nice. That looks
Oh,
awesome.
that's the watercolor one. Yeah, I haven't made a watercolor yet. That looks really good.
Oh, that's like a water city. That's badass.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
That's like Water 7 from One
I'll
Piece.
have to get a better look at it when I'm not doing this.
Why don't you give us maps like this, Joel?
Because I don't like you guys.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Joel does give us quality maps such as these.
That must be why you kill my character.
Although Joel's maps have not included a shitter, which these ones have. So,
Yeah,
Just
where's our
saying.
latrine?
yeah,
You
man.
guys have from in the Sentinels campaign from the start. You guys have not yet said you've gone to the bathroom, which it's gonna carry some pretty dire consequences. Gotta say.
So like what? I imagine just like Volcrum is walking along with Tyrock and Mr. Birds, and he just explodes into like just a
Volcrum.
pile of just like
Volcrum. Volcrum's not part of the campaign.
Joel, when I think fondly upon D&D memories, I think of Volcrum, Tyrock, Mr. Birds, Duncan, and those guys.
Oh wow.
That's
This
understandable.
current campaign means nothing to you.
That is not even remotely what I said.
I'm kidding. Yeah, no, those were good campaigns though. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like that was the first one we all did together. We were doing that one for so long that it's pretty easy to think like I'm Mr. Bird. I mean, my handle literally is Mr. Birds.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a that was our first campaign. We did that. We did to completion.
Well,
I've
yeah,
been
and like
working on an ice island before you had to go work. Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Sorry, Astral.
I love those characters.
Astral, I didn't hear. What did you hear? I missed
That's what I heard.
part.
Oh, probably about us talking about the first campaign.
Oh yeah. Fond memories.
Yeah, no.
Have we talked about the story of like this level in particular and Ivor's experience? Like, how much do you guys remember from that?
Okay, well, basically, it was there was the dead were rising,
Yep.
or like there was some rising zombies in the town, or like in the graveyard just outside of the town, and I don't know if it was like the town guard or the town captain or somebody was like, hey, like we need somebody to look into this. We don't know what's going on. Like this needs to be looked into. And so we went there and we fought some zombies. It was pretty dire. And then we descended into this crypt, fighting more zombies and skellies.
Yeah.
And then we found a
Come on.
necromancer who was in like the
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
I
I mean, you wrote it. You know more than I do.
Yeah, he wasn't a necromancer. He was a here, let me just quickly save before I forget. 126 changes. So basically, you guys heard that, or the graveyard was shut down and people couldn't like pay their respects anymore because of wolves, quote, but the guards said they were attacked by undead. When you went there, the priests were like, "Oh yeah, there's wolves attacking," and you're like, "Uh huh." And then you found out they were actually lying because the head priest had disappeared and was down in this crypt, and he'd been there for like months or no weeks. And when you came and found him, he was actually in this room up here, and he had a like multiple tables set up with like undead everywhere, having a big rotten feast. And he was playing like instruments and stuff and partying. And essentially he got possessed by the ghost of like a bard who was the ancestor of that priest who was possessing him and basically just trying to party more in the afterlife. And then Ivor challenged him to an arm wrestle.
Right.
And beat him. And he agreed to leave his body, at which point he tried to steal one of your guys' bodies, but you guys managed to defeat him.
Yeah.
At which point Old Merrick actually almost died of old age. I think Dominic, your character and Old Merrick both suffered like, so what ghosts do is they like, looking at them, if you fail your save, they age you a certain amount of years, and old Merrick was already like 90.
Oh yeah.
So he became like 100, and he almost just died from old age.
Outright, yeah.
Like instantly. And I was like, oh shit. But yeah, you guys managed to get back, and then you reverse the effects before they became permanent, because they can become permanent if you don't deal with them quick enough. Fledgling gamer. The world I'm running is a homebrew called Era of Oceans. It was once a land-based world until a primordial water elemental entered the material plane and flooded the world. Heroes past defeated the primordial water elemental, and the players are living in the wake of its destruction. So that's a series of islands, so basically a giant archipelago. Oh, I'm getting huge Wind Waker vibes from that. That's awesome.
I'm glad he didn't say Waterworld.
I was thinking Waterworld.
Yeah, me too.
I'm thinking Wind Waker for sure. That's awesome. That's like, I haven't done many, like, I've always wanted to do like a primary, like, sea focused adventure, like some sort of pirate thing.
Yeah.
You got bored of just murdering me, so now you want to drown me. Makes sense.
Yeah. You make it sound like I'm just like so evil.
Yeah.
I mean, I am simply stating facts. My character exists, and then you murder it. Like, it's.
You're not stating facts. You were embellishing lies.
Really?
Lies. Yes, really.
So, what happened to Squawk?
Well, Squawk is not dead. He how many times are we gonna go over this? I must apologize to the viewers because I have to say this again, but Squawk is not dead. He is mashed potatoes.
Yeah, and what about that is not being dead?
Because he's mashed potatoes, dude. He's not dead.
Okay. And what happened to Shiggy?
Oh, Shiggy's dead.
Yeah, and how did he die?
Got stomped on by mammoths.
He got stomped on by a mammoth.
Yeah.
And who was controlling the mammoth?
God.
My younger players have been comparing it to One Piece, lol, but it honestly was based off Waterworld because I was introduced mutations into. Oh yeah, cool.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's why I thought it reminded me of One Piece. Yeah, who stood under the mammoth? Shiggy.
Yeah. It was a noble death, and it was hilarious because your other character you're playing immediately came in after and just started insulting his like corpse.
Oh yeah, no,
to the tune of accordion music, which we have a clip of that somewhere. Oh my god, that's so funny.
It's somewhere, yeah.
We're just like, put on some accordion music, Chris, and he puts it on, and it just starts like.
He did it. He fucking did it on his own.
Yeah,
that was the best part. He just like,
he didn't even ask them. He's just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, no, I did not talk to him before. I mean, obviously I didn't. I didn't know I was gonna die.
But the song itself was like perfect. It was so cheesy and like just like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever it was perfect.
It was just like
she
really
is burning in hell to this like accordion music.
He was a paladin. Why would he go to hell?
I don't know. He wasn't a very good paladin.
What do you mean? What do you mean he wasn't a good paladin?
I'm sure in his mind he went to heaven or whatever.
Well, no,
okay,
so we know canonically Shiggy did not go to hell or heaven. He's in the Aeon Trials. We know this.
That's true.
Canonically, he is fighting for his everlasting soul in the Aeon Trials as part of the Kill My Player stream.
Yeah, it's true. That poor bastard.
I'm gonna have one of these fall on the ground. Are there any other? Oops.
Also, for the record, that iteration of Shiggy was actually a cleric.
Oh, I need to.
Oh yeah, right.
I need to make some of these like open. That's what I need to do.
Needs crystals with a light source from your crypt to give it some flair. Or how about some like some torches or something?
So what I was gonna do, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Fledgling Gamer, is whenever I have, this is like a trick of mine, and I don't know if you guys have kind of picked up on it, but I don't like to make maps that are 100% dark.
Yeah.
I hate making maps that are just like, it's completely black. If you don't have dark vision, you better have a torch. I try to stay away from that, and I know it's realistic, but what I like to do is, if it's a cave, I'll throw in glowing fungus or something to give a little bit of a flair to show off the map. Because my idea, my thought is, why spend all this time making a map if like most of your players aren't going to see it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it does, like, having having light sources like that to play off of, I think it does make it look like it just adds a really nice visual flair, especially
Yeah.
like when you've had like luminescent fungus in caves before. It's been really cool.
Yeah, and like I mean, I could do the same thing here. I could do some like little like crypt fungus, you know, like
yeah.
Yeah.
I do think in this specifically, it would probably make the most sense to just have regular torches because of where it was based. Like this is a like a crypt in an actively used graveyard in the middle of like a town, right? So it's
Or like
it's not
just outside the town.
yeah. But what I mean is like it's not like
Well, what I
a
was gonna do actually is I'm going to put sconces, and then because I like to, I'm gonna start making multiple versions of the maps, right? So I'll put sconces in, and I'll save the map as it is, and I'll have like the fungus. The fungus will just be there, or I might just have the sconces and then do the fungus as a different version and have multiple versions. So I have one that's incarnate friendly, because incarnate, you want to leave it with no lighting inside, so you can add your own lighting in incarnate. Whereas if you're printing it out on a tabletop thing, like to use in person, you want to have the lighting there because you can't add it after, unless you're like running it on a screen or something, right?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
That's my sort of plan. Is I'll have a few versions that's like incarnate or VTT friendly, where you can add in light sources after to have them like somewhat animated, and then so on and so forth. One of my favorite puzzles I've used: a room full of keys written in Dwarvish. Human eyes reveal the key. There is one red key because dark vision is in grayscale. Please need to light a torch or another source of light. Oh, that's really cool.
Oh yeah, dark vision is in grayscale.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people often forget, myself included.
I mean, yeah, geez.
Although we have a module in Foundry. We use Foundry VTT fledgling, and it's called like Smart Vision, maybe. It's something like that, and it automatically like it gives you like a grayscale if you have dark vision instead of seeing in color.
Yeah.
You guys probably haven't noticed it because your characters can usually only see that one color. So, but yeah, pretty cool. Okay, this upper portion starting to look good. How much time do I have? 9 o'clock. Okay, good. Lots of time. Still not 100% happy with the stairs.
You should just leave them. They look fine.
Just a couple little additions here. Yeah, just a little bit of just dinker around a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Twilight Cleric Sight is OP. What's Twilight Cleric Sight? I don't know what that is.
Twilight is a domain for cleric.
Okay.
Eyes of Night. Starting at first level, you can see through the deepest gloom. You have dark vision out to a range of 300 feet.
Oh, damn.
In that radius, you can see in dim light as if it were bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light. That's really good. Oh, it gets better.
300 feet of dark vision. Oh my god.
That's fucked. As an action, you can magically share the dark vision of this feature with willing creatures you can see within 10 feet of you.
Oh, damn.
Up to a number of creatures equal to your Wiz modifier.
Wiz modifier.
Lasts for an hour. Once you share it, you can't do it again for a long rest. Wow.
So it's pretty good, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and then wow. Twilight Cleric is great. And then also at first level, you can, as an action, you can give one creature you touch, including yourself, advantage on the next initiative roll.
Oh, wow.
The benefit immediately ends if after the roll or if you use the feature again. Okay, so you can't just stack it on your whole party.
Okay, so in my original, I have advantage on initiative. Like, you can very rarely get advantage on initiative. Like, that's,
I don't think I've ever seen a feature that gives you that.
Yeah, I mean, there's in my original
I just haven't seen them.
In my original, I had a couple pillars in the middle here. I think I'm just gonna go with one. That like so. Dip into Twilight Cleric from Dunestalker Rogue.
Gloom.
Oh, sorry, Gloomstalker. I'm so unfamiliar with, like, builds.
Yeah, so am I.
I think that's a ranger thing, not a rogue.
Gloomstalker?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, they. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I'm completely unfamiliar with like established builds in D&D.
Yeah, a lot of alternative class archetypes. Especially from like subsequent source material, like even like Xanathar's guide. Like I haven't really looked through a whole lot. There's a lot of stuff I'm just not aware of. So what is Gloomstalker Ranger? You get give yourself a bonus to initiative rolls.
Oh, there you go.
Start of each turn of combat, you increase your speed by 10 feet. If you take an action on that turn, you make an additional weapon attack as part of the action. If it hits, the target takes an additional 1d8. Oh my god. So you get a good initial burst damage. You get 60 feet of dark vision. Yes, Gloomstalker seems decent. Although I worry with Gloomstalker, you give up some of the really good features that Ranger has. But that's just me. That's just me power gaming.
Yeah, you're in your power gaming.
Gloomstalker is invisible in darkness against any creature trying to see you in darkness. Oh.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Huh.
Fair and balanced.
No problem. Okay, so
I feel like D&D. Here's a good question: is D&D balanced?
No.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be. Does not need to be balanced.
Well, it depends.
And I think
on what...
the balance comes from the DM running each individual session.
I think it depends on what.
I should reiterate. I think just saying it does not need to be balanced is actually incorrect. I think you're right. Yeah, it really comes down to the DM. Like there has to be a balance, but it's not balanced in like every class and build is equal because there are too many classes and builds for that to be even remotely feasible.
Yeah.
Oops.
I genuinely think like you are correct in saying that. Like D&D is such a complex and creativity driven game that making it a truly balanced game is largely impossible. But I do very much so believe that they should like when they're designing the game, when they're designing like the classes and how they work and all of that, they should 100% aim to make it as balanced as possible and not have characters that are just like obscenely more strong.
Yeah.
Then like you're always like with how complicated it is, there are always going to be like people who figure out how to do 500 billion damage per attack and have infinite attacks at some point. Like that's going to be a thing. Like there's always going to be those edge cases. But
what was my ranger's name?
Fildren.
Yeah, Fildren was an example of that.
Yeah, he was pretty
Fildren's damage output was fucking disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, and also like the other people we're playing with were not how do you say, optimized.
Yeah, and that creates the contrast where it's like, in one turn, Fildren's dealing, 30, 40 damage at relatively low levels, and then, you get other characters that really aren't like doing anything, like not in terms of like combat, like they're still participating, but like they're really not like having an effect, like a real effect on the combat, aside from just like being a body. I've really tried to tone down my min-maxing.
I think min-max, like I said when we were talking about it before, like there's nothing. So that actually, so there's nothing wrong with min-maxing in and of itself. Like if you want to min-max, like that's perfectly fine. I mean, that's what Mitch does, right?
I don't know if he.
I don't know about that.
I wouldn't.
You know,
I don't know if he is a min maxer, so to speak.
Mitch.
I mean, you know, Mitch probably does what I do, which is whenever I start like a roll a new character, the first thing I do is I look up multiple min-max builds for that thing, and I look at, okay, what are these people taking and why? I look at the effective things, and I just make my choices based on that. I never follow a guide to the T.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way.
Yeah, I look, okay, these people have played for hours and hours and hours. They know more than I do. Give me a tier list of spells.
Yeah.
Like literally, like give me the tier list, and then I'll choose, you know?
Oh yeah, that's how I build my characters too, if I'm going for something standard. What I mean by Mitch is a min-maxer is that like he is like he doesn't just look up online like what is the best and then how do I do the most damage, and then he doesn't do that. What he does is he comes up with a concept or sees like, oh hey, if I do this and take this, this, and this, you know, I can make something cool, and then he min-maxes that. He figures out like what is the highest amount of whatever he's going for that I can get to abuse the crap out of things with this build, right? Like that's what he did with Duncan, right? Like he min-maxed the ever-loving shit out of how much damage he could do with just attacking. And you know, the way he achieved this was by like I think Duncan had 3 different classes that he multi-classed into. Like he had
Very possible, yeah.
I think he had a bit. I think he had a level in cleric. He had a level. He definitely had a level in rogue. And then he had a bunch of levels in like fighter or something like that.
Yeah,
and
he was a. Was he a fighter or a No, he wasn't a barbarian. Yeah, I think he was a fighter. Yeah.
I think he was a fighter, but you know, he was a half orc using an orc's axe, great axe or something like that, which gave him a bunch of bonuses because, you know, they just get bonuses for using the racial axe.
The butchering axe or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
which shouldn't be in the game. That butchering axe
is
too gross.
Yeah, the problem is that starts to disappear though if I adjust the opacity. Unless I adjust both of them.
But no, like he.
I'll put some shit over it to make it look nice.
he does again. He doesn't like go balls to the walls and like min max to have like the best class doing the most damage possible. But you know, like he does take ideas and then try and make them as broken as possible, right? And doing that, there's nothing wrong with doing that, provided that you don't do that to the detriment of the rest of the players having fun, right? Because again, the most important part of D&D is everybody who's playing the game together, you know, do their best to make sure everybody at the table is having fun. Like you shouldn't set out to, you know, oh, my character is going to shoot and AoE kill everything in every combat encounter, and you know, I'm going to summon a zoo while I'm at it so I have like 10 turns each round. Like doing stuff like that to make sure that, you know, your fellow players aren't having fun is no good, right?
Yeah, that's. I mean, it comes down to like, you know, why are you playing the game, right? Like,
yeah,
are you playing it to make a character like that, or are you playing it to, you know, hang out with your friends? I'm gonna change these. I just realized I'd rather have this.
Yeah, but I mean that just comes from the player. Like, I mean, some players like you can't. Like people go into D&D with with a goal. You know, whether you think it or not, you know, like my goal when I play with you guys is just to have fun with my friends. And if it involves a bunch of combat, great. If it involves role playing, great. You know, like I don't care. Like as long as everybody's having a fun time and I am moderately engaged, then it's all good. But
I'm gonna try out what Fledgling was saying here.
What did they say?
He said to take this thing, and maybe I'll find like a texture, like a concrete, like a dark concrete or something like that. And just fill in behind it, and I'll try and blend it in.
Yeah.
Shadow maybe.
But like some people, when they go into a D&D group, you know, they want to just kill things. They want to fight and just do huge damage, and that's really all they care about. And they're not playing it
that's fine.
as what it is. You know, they don't. Some people don't understand what a tabletop role playing game is.
Well, I mean, that's. I'm gonna counter that by saying it can be anything. It just what it needs to happen is, and this is if someone were to use the good DM advice, this is one of the ones I haven't used yet, but I'm gonna use it for free. Is run a session 0, and this is why, so that everybody who's coming to the table knows what kind of campaign it is and what kind of campaign that the other players are looking for and that the DM is looking for. So, like, for example, me, like, what would you guys say, like, percentage-wise of, like, story and combat I do?
I would say largely. I have no idea what the actual percentage would be.
Yeah, I mean, like, just a guess. I'm not...
Like 60-40?
My guess would be that it leans more towards having, like, RP and story, but there is it's pretty equal story and combat with it.
I'd probably say 60-40 or 70-30 in favor of RP.
Yeah.
I would say 60-40.
Yeah.
And that's just my style. Like, sometimes I have sessions that are like one combat, like the whole thing. But, like, you know, I've seen how you guys react. I'm like, okay, these guys are enjoying themselves, so, you know, keep doing this.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah. You guys know what to expect. Like there's, depending on the campaign, there's some degree of plot armor, not like a ton, but there is like an amount of, like, I'm in, like, our Sentinels campaign, like, I'm not trying to murder you guys. Like, I'm not trying to, like, send things out and destroy you guys and be like, oh, well, you made a mistake, you're dead.
Despite what Jason says, yes.
Well,
you're not trying to do that.
That was a different. That was a mini adventure, and I did say at the beginning, like, I did say, like, this is going to be very dangerous. You guys, you know, will likely die. So, you know, just make your characters accordingly. And you guys made characters that were more able to survive.
In case, like, I figured Joel and Logan know this, but in case anybody else doesn't realize, when I'm saying that, I'm fucking memeing.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
90% of what Jason says is
BS.
Is BS.
It is nonsense.
I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I'm not.
It's not entirely false. A lot of what I say is just complete nonsense.
Fledgling gamer. Yeah, I found that running a session 0 was incredibly useful. Our last session was 3 hours of role-playing shopping, and the other 3 hours was combat. The session was supposed to be only 3 hours, but we decided to keep going because players were having so much fun. Oh, that's awesome.
That's the important thing.
6 hours. That's longer than we've done.
If your players are having fun, then nothing else matters.
Yeah.
If everybody at the table is having a fun time and laughing or being engaged, then your job is complete. You have successfully DM'd.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would like to comment on something Logan said that, and you had said, and I get what you mean by this, and I don't entirely disagree. But you said that, you know, some people just want to kill stuff, and that's not kind of the point of D&D.
Some people just want to watch the world burn. Yep. I think I'm gonna make this
is true.
Circular. What do you guys think about that? Fuck.
I think that's fine.
Do you think? Are you okay with that? If I do that,
I'll allow it. Yeah,
I'll allow it.
I don't know. I just
so if I remember correctly, the layout of the room was it had a stage on one side and then a bunch of tables on the other.
That was my next sort of like question. So, like, am I going to do that again, or am I gonna? Okay, height.
I think that worked very well for
well,
how...
I had a couple ideas here. Originally it was a bunch of tables here and like a feast set up, and there was like coffins and stuff on the other side. Like this was the what was it, Hal Thane, I think was his name. This was like the Hal Thane family crypt.
Right.
Like the oldest family. The whole thing is the Hal Thane family crypt, but this is like the oldest family. We're all here. And then Ludwig van Hal Thane, or where the hell his name was over here. And so he had set up all these tables and chairs here, and then like a big dance floor here with like instruments down there. So in order to make this, because if I want to like, you know, give this map away, make it a little bit more sort of, what's the word? Like usable. Generally usable. I don't know if that's a very specific situation.
So the way that I look at it is, if you wanted to, because like the gist of what you're saying is that, and I think that what you had worked really, really well for what you had set up, and that whole part was just a lot of fun. But realistically speaking, it doesn't make a lick of fucking sense that there's just this room that can have rows of tables and a stage in it. That is true. So maybe what I would do is, I think that you should stick with what you had as an idea, but maybe make it more that, you know, the stage is like a raised platform and like some sort of altar kind of thing.
Well,
And
I was
then,
thinking of making it like a like maybe some sort of like arcane setup, like a mage had come down here and set up a bunch of like arcane craft to raise the dead or something.
Oh, that could be cool.
Yeah, like the first idea, like again, I can have multiple versions of this, and one idea is to kind of change the layout to, because it's pretty big right now. Like it's a big area, and that wouldn't make sense for a crypt. Like why is this a 40-foot by 80-foot area? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, the measurements in D&D are loose.
No, I know, yeah. In fact, actually, now that I'm saying that, I kind of want to make this square again. So. Let's get this thing out of here. I might just add some like pillars in the middle and kind of split it a little bit, or just add some more stuff in the middle, and then I'll have a couple versions. One, which is the crypt is in good condition. It's a city, you can visit it, and like I'll make all these coffins like nice looking, so that, you know, let's just say the players come down here to visit and there's no evil things going on. Like that's just the nice version of the crypt. The torches are lit, blah blah blah. And then I'll make the version where there's like a mage or something that's set up, or a necromancer is set up. What is fledgling saying? I broke my players last session. They still love my campaign, but I introduced an orange tiefling who I voiced like Donald Trump. Oh my god. I'm going to make Spiral Island great again. I hired the Hunters Guild, and let me tell you, they are going to do a tremendous job clearing out all the gnolls. Wow. Once they're cleared out, we need to build a wall to keep the mutants out. And you know what? The mutants are going to pay for it. Take a look at my mini under crypt map I sent you. There's a setup that has like Artificer was working with a wizard to raise the dead. Where was that? Oh damn, there's so many maps. Oh, these are awesome. Yeah, these are really cool. Yeah, I could probably take a better look at them when I'm not doing this, but yeah, those are cool. So for now, let's do the outside. Let's do.
Yeah, the underwater one that you did looks really cool.
Let's get this going here. The only problem with this type of floor is it kind of like it doesn't jive with the grid too well. It's unfortunate because it's not like matched up. And I mean, I could have changed it so that the floor does match up with that, and then I might still. That's just really hard to get them to match up. But it would also be a really nice touch.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be impossible to fix. So maybe it'll be my next task after I get this Dunyan rings in here.
Onion rings. How dare you?
Right. Oh, is that a... Nope, that's not a gap. Okay.
But no, I think I remember what I was saying before we started talking about that.
Right, sorry, totally.
Oh, no, that's perfectly fine. To finish my thought, Logan had said, like just fighting things isn't really what D&D is about. And I agree with him in that, like, that's definitely not what I get out of D&D at all. Like I enjoy, essentially playing make believe and doing fantasy adventures and doing like the role playing stuff and doing all of those things with my friends, right? Like, doing combat is fun, but I'm not playing D&D for the enjoyment of the mechanical depth of the game, in the sense that, like, I don't if I'm looking for a game to play based on the mechanics alone, D&D just isn't what I would go for. Like, it's really cool, all of the creative stuff you can do, and just going off the basic rule set, like, it's fine, but
Yeah.
it's not what I would go. However, as long the only way you can play D&D wrong is if you're if you or the other people in your group aren't having fun, right? So as long as you're in a group and everybody wants to throw dice at goblins, like, that's fine. Like, if that's what your group wants to do and get out of D&D, there is literally nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong or no shame in just throwing dice at goblins. Like, if you have a DM that just wants to throw goblins at you, and you have 2, 3, 4 players who just want to slay goblins, and you're having fun and everybody's having a gay old time, that is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, right? Like, the only way you can have the only way that you're playing D&D wrong is by either impeding the fun of your fellow players or your DM, or just not having fun yourself. Like, as long as everybody's having fun and on the same page, then there is no wrong way to play D&D. Even if you're fucking not following the rules of D&D, like, who gives a shit? The whole point of it is to get together with your friends and have fun.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I get that's a good point. The only way to play it wrong is to not have fun.
Yeah, and it
or
becomes
to
an issue.
Cause someone else to not have fun.
Yeah.
Due to what you're doing.
And it becomes an issue if one person in the group's idea of fun is wildly different or conflicts with the other people's having fun.
Yeah, exactly. Or they can't, like, reconcile and be like, oh, let me have my fun when I can, and let them have their fun when they can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, fledgling gamer. So I've been able to keep my players engaged in the game with a shopping session, introducing NPCs with interesting voices and role-playing it out. Was able to pull a party through 3 hours of no combat without any complaints. Yeah, I mean, we've had entire sessions that were no combat, and then, it ended up being a problem for some people.
And that group, like, again, like, there's nothing wrong with what they wanted out of that game, right? Like, that isn't the only thing that was wrong with it is that what they wanted out of the game wasn't...
wants Smash Goblins. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the simple fact is that, like, the problem with the way they were approaching the game is that it clashed with how you wanted to run the game, and how, essentially half the party wanted to play the game. Like, I think Logan leans towards how, the way that we do stuff now, in terms of, like, if he had a choice. But and correct me if I'm wrong, Logan, but my read of the situation was that, like, you're just having fun hanging out with the boys. So if it was just throwing dice at goblins, you would probably be okay with that.
Yeah, But I mean, yeah, for sure. Like if it was a very combat centric thing, then of course I'm going to be okay with that. I love me some combat and thinking about things tactically. I think nobody would disagree that the issue with that space campaign was that the problem players were specifically just not playing Joel's game.
Well, that's the kind of what I was getting at, is that, like, you know, you're a fairly flexible guy, and you would have been perfectly aligned with that. So you would be okay with either way. But you know, like Mitch and I, like, we both like the more we don't care for the combat stuff as much as we like to do like the heavy RP, the thinking about stuff, being clever. And I'm not saying you don't like doing those things at all. I mean, like, you're just kind of like more chill and willing to do ever. And Joel's very much so, like, that's how he likes to run his campaigns, right? So because there was that fundamental clash, which with essentially where the party was essentially split down the middle, and the DM didn't align with two of the players, you know, it caused a huge amount of problems where, you know, like, it ended up that without and there wasn't any talking among anybody either. So, you know, like, they didn't mention that there was a problem with, oh, we're getting bored. Well, Jason and Mitch go and pretend to be like a fucking field trip thing and our RP through a session, like,
which was the best session, by the way.
Yeah.
I 100% agree that is the most memorable and most fun session we had during that campaign. That was a blast. And it's there's not even a problem with the fact that they didn't like that. It's just simply that they didn't voice that they didn't enjoy that, and there wasn't that, like, okay, well, the way that we want to play the game clashes, so, you know, we either need to figure something out or decide that, you know, this isn't working out. No, they just decided, okay, well, you know, we didn't enjoy that, so we're going to put a timer on if one of the players is going and trying to min-max the situation in our advantage, and once the real world timer's up, we're just going to walk into the room and start blowing everybody away, right? And that's where that huge clash came up. And again, like, there's not a huge issue, there's not any issue with how they wanted to play the game. It's that the way that they approached it and forced it, and the way that it clashed with the DM that they had and the other players, right? That's when it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Zero discussion. We are doing this. I shoot the receptionist.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
You've been streaming your campaigns has made your job as a DM so much easier. How is it like streaming on Twitch, you mean? Or I'm just wondering how. I wouldn't say it's easier for me to stream on Twitch and do my campaign because I've got other stuff going, but it's definitely a lot of fun. I definitely enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear the reasoning behind streaming your campaign. Like, assuming you mean the Twitch.
Yeah, Fledgling Game, you're in the limelight now.
Yeah, you're in the limelight.
I'd be interested to hear the explanation why it would make it easier.
Gamer has logged off.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yes.
I do that with Tekken.
Okay, that it all makes sense now.
Yeah,
I usually in the beginning, probably not as much anymore. But in the beginning, I don't know if you remember. I used to ask you guys all the time, like, oh, what'd you think of this and what'd you think of that? And I would always try and get your guys' opinions on stuff. And then, you know, subsequently ignore what you said because you guys don't know what you're talking about.
Stop killing my players and putting jumping puzzles. What was that? Murder your players more and put more jumping puzzles? I'm kidding, of course.
I'm converting this D&D campaign into a literal platformer.
D&D is basically the ultimate platformer.
Fledgling Gamer, if I could give you a little, I know nobody's cashed in DM advice, but we're gonna give in.
Here. Wow.
Was that even activated?
Yeah, the 3 are activated. We're just it's just a quiet night for chat rewards.
Yeah, we're all just hanging out.
Just hanging out. Well, that's fine too.
Yeah. So Fledgling Gamer, here's a free one. So like Joel said, he would quite often ask us, you know, like, oh, did you like this? You should absolutely, like, after sessions or like in chats, like between sessions or whatever, you know, ask your players what they thought, or ask them, did any of them have like a problem with something, or like did something, like was somebody like clearly bored? Like you kind of need to pick up on that sort of thing as well, you know? And through doing that, you can sort of pick up little tidbits of like, oh, maybe I can make this thing a little bit better. Because
I want to actually give you guys an example of a session where I did something that you guys really didn't like, and I knew it, and I called it, and I called it out after, and we were like, yeah, let's not do that again. And that was in our first Pathfinder campaign, the one we finished. I did that big battle where I did like Kings of War style rules where you
that was when you were into Kings of War.
Yeah, I was super into Kings of War and like that kind of stuff, and I did this big battle where you guys like basically like hijacked the rules from that to control like squads of units, and you got your characters were leading the squads. And in my mind, it was such a cool idea. But then like afterwards, you guys were like, yeah, I didn't really get to use any of my character abilities. I'm like, oh yeah, the thing that D&D's about.
Yeah, I didn't like that too much.
Yeah, and I didn't like. I got such tunnel vision on the idea, thinking that like, oh, this is a really cool idea. And I mean, luckily you guys let me run with it, and like we just kind of did the session and took one for the team.
Of course.
But yeah, that like I kind of like guessed it. Like I was like, yeah, I don't think that was really good. And I was just like, okay, wait, you know what? That's fine. Like that didn't work out. I have plenty of other ideas to test out, so no biggie.
I'm gonna relate that to something. Because it's something that I find really fucking interesting, and I understand where your desire with that came from, outside of the fact that you're just really into the game and you wanted to try and have mimic something like that inside of D&D, and that like having I'm gonna say the word gimmicky, but I don't mean it in a bad way.
No, I know.
Adding
say the thing.
Adding in little one-off gimmicky little things is perfectly fine, and it can be a really helpful tool in order to mix up combat and mix up scenarios and just kind of add like a fresh twist on stuff, right?
Yeah.
The problem is like you got to be really careful, and what I'm going to relate this to is like MMORPGs, specifically like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14, in that like I'm sure you both played Wrath of the Lich King, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that we played through most of the original expansion, then we stopped like 2/3 of the way through that lifespan of that one.
Yeah. But I'm sure you got to the point where some of the dungeons had the vehicles in them, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm going to be able to get this grid to line up, so I'm just going to do 50, and that's a shame.
So the idea was that somewhere in Wrath of the Lich King, they introduced the idea of vehicles. They weren't literally vehicles all of the time, but the idea was that you would stop using your character and start using something else that had a different ability.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so for example, one of the like level 70, I think, one of the early level dungeons, the final boss involved you riding around on dragons and using these abilities.
Yeah, Nexus, I think, yeah.
Yeah, the something Nexus or something, or the Oculus or something.
Oh, the Oculus, yeah. The Nexus, I think, was the first instance.
I
there you go. That breaks up the pattern a little bit, eh? That looks a lot nicer.
You need to, or sorry, yeah, like and I always, like, when I went into those, I was like, yeah, that sounds so cool, I'm gonna ride around on a dragon and that. But after doing it, I fucking hated it. And I hated it specifically, and this is something that they never figured out, because they kept doing the vehicle sections. Whereas in 14, they did one thing that had a vehicle section, they realized, wow, this sucks, and then they never did it again, thank God. The problem with vehicle sections is the problem that you stated, where you
take out the whole thing, that like all of your skill with your character that you built up over the years is now wasted.
Exactly. The character that you've spent all of this time being invested in playing, with all of these cool abilities that you've picked, you no longer get to use because it's being removed from what you're currently doing. And so when it comes to adding those gimmicky things, it has to augment that, not replace it, right?
Right, yeah.
Which is why what you came up with wasn't, we weren't super hot on it. Like it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like obviously we were like, we played through it and it was fine. But when you asked us, we were so lukewarm on it, and that's why. It's because we didn't have our characters anymore. And
100%. And I was 100% willing to be like, all right, that's
yeah,
that's it. No more D&D for you guys. All right, what did I missed what Fledgling said? Looking at how I've been DMing, allowing me to view my own stuff, asking players how I've been doing. The only feedback I ever had was, loved it. It was so much fun. I can't wait till the next session. Not being able to create myself was the only way I've been improving for the last year of being a DM. Yeah, because some people are, unwilling to say give criticism because they don't want someone to feel bad. Which is unfortunate.
It comes from a place of I don't want to hurt my friend's feelings. I don't want to make them feel bad. Yeah. But it's 100% true that a lot of people will have a hard time just staying, which sucks. But I would say that making it clear to your players that I need honest feedback and you're not going to hurt my feeling. I want to make these better for you. So if there is something that you didn't speak up. And I would like to think that, we all have that relationship with Joel where
exactly.
If he does something that is bad, we're not afraid to tell him. It doesn't happen.
That was
often.
very, very bad, Joel. I'm sure Joel would cringe at footage of his first sessions. Oh my god, I know I would.
Yeah.
If you're using a 35 opacity rest, you make the stones look like they are growing mouse. I'm sad you said that because I was gonna do that already. That was one of the tricks I've been using. Now it looks like it wasn't my idea. But yes, I was going to do that. I like filling in the little cracks and stuff with little details. It's something I've been doing a lot. I did it in my other map too with the wood.
The other map you made was just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah, that island map was awesome.
What, this one looks like shit? Is that what you're
saying? Yeah.
If you're interested in seeing the island map, we have a Discord.
Yeah. So my first ever session I ran was the one with you, Josh, and Eli, Logan. And I remember distinctly.
What character was I?
You were Phildrent.
Okay.
You guys were in a town, a little port city, and there was a festival going on, and you did there was I started with some games
we were the threes.
You were the three fours or something you had some stupid name. But you were doing a test of strength. I had 3 different tests that were based on each of your characters, and so you each did it, and which I thought was a cool little opening because it was you didn't start in a tavern, and then the town was all of a sudden attacked by skeletons. Yeah. And what I didn't realize was how powerful skeletons are for level 1s to fight.
Right.
And the very first ones came in and started curb stomping you, and I'm like, oh god. Mm-hmm. And so I can't remember what I did. I think I had guards run in and help you out at one point. But yeah, it was I don't know if it was cringy, but it was very oh god, I made a terrible mistake. Do I want grass or do I want grass?
I would love to see footage of that floor session.
Those are the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe I want this one. That's the same thing. These are the same thing. Let's try this. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of really detailed, busy work. I don't mind that. Probably turn the opacity down a little bit though. Looks kind of weird zoomed in, but when you get further away, it looks a little bit nicer. Yeah, go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to be trying to focus on this and do that at the same time.
Oh, I see what you're doing. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so I've done that on a few of my maps, and when you zoom out, it kind of looks like it's kind of mossy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's a good one. Is it the DM's job to resolve personal squabbles between the players?
Oh my god, no.
No.
In fact, it's no one's job but your own.
No, if two not even 2 characters, if 2 players are having an issue, they need to leave.
If two adults are bringing their issues into like games like that, then yeah, maybe they need to figure those out. But yeah, it's not the DMs. Oh my god, no.
You're there to play a game.
Not even close. Like,
so I would say that, you know, the view of the DM is like they basically become the leader of the group, right?
Yeah.
And you know, if they want to, you know, try and resolve stuff or like try and hash stuff out, like that's perfectly fine. But are they responsible for it? Absolutely not. The only thing that they would be responsible for in that scenario is if it's becoming a problem, saying like, look, sort your shit out, or like this is coming to an end, or you're getting kicked out of the campaign, or whatever. Like that is the beginning and end of the responsibility of the DM in that is just like dealing with it so far as, you know, it's hampering the enjoyment of the game, right?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like just this is fucking like, and that is something that a DM can be responsible for, right? Like taking players aside and talking to them when there is an issue, but resolving interpersonal issues between two players that, you know, is stuff outside the game, like that's not their responsibility at all. Like,
Well, check this out. I just read the post. So so I need some advice so I don't come off like an asshole in this situation. There's one player in my group, let's call him Tim, that has repeatedly come to me with all their personal baggage, especially issues with another player that we'll call John. I don't mind giving advice for friends, but this has gotten to a point where I'm tired of advising on every little petty thing. So on to the issue. Tim is upset because John won't respond to their Discord messages. Because John didn't invite Tim to join his own campaign that he started. Now, John is a completely chill person, and I haven't had any issues with him, in-game or otherwise. Today, Tim messaged me saying that he wants me to step in and fix the problems with John. Otherwise, they're considering leaving the group. I have stepped in the past and dealt with one problem player's behavior in-game and out-of-game, which is affecting the group, and they stop being problematic. But this time it feels like I'm the equivalent of a couples therapist for two players. Is it really my job as the DM to step in to deal with personal squabble like this? No, because Tim is just asking you to tell John that he hurt his feelings.
Well, yeah, in that case, no. Tim is being a little baby and not dealing with his personal problems, and is like crying because he's getting excluded. And it sounds like Tim is a really annoying little bastard, and I'm not surprised that Tim is getting...
Not going to take any sides here, but Tim sounds like an annoying little bastard.
Yeah. I'm not taking sides here, but John sounds cool.
I'd invite John to my game. All right, what did Fledgling Gamers say? My resolution to personal squabbles is to ask the problem player, if you can't sort out your problems amongst yourselves, both of you have to leave the table. No arguments, that's it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes if it gets to that point, it sucks when it gets to that point. But at the same time, if it's affecting everyone else, like you can't be like, you don't want to take sides, right? Unless it's very clear, like, you know, it's like, yeah, he stabbed me the other day. It's like, okay, well, yeah, it's obviously, you know, you gotta, you can't stab people, man. Like,
you need to, like you're there to play a game.
Yeah,
you're there to have fun. Yeah. People, like, you're supposed to. It's a role playing game. You're playing as a fucking tiefling warlock who can shoot bolts out of his cock. You know, like I don't want to deal with like, oh, he didn't Discord message me.
Logan, what character was that again? Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
I'm assuming that's where Eldritch Blast comes from.
It can come from wherever you want, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's just,
can your spellcasting implement be your own dick? Oh, what if you have like a piercing? What if you have like a Prince Albert?
Oh my god.
And that's your implement.
Again, D&D is anything you want to make it. If you want to do that, then
if you want to shoot magic out of your genitals, sure.
Just make sure everyone else at the table is okay with that, and they're not going to be like, dude, stop.
As long as your group is okay with it.
Yeah,
the world is your oyster.
But that actually is a good point. Like, overly, like, sexual players, right? Like, players who bring, like, that kind of, you know, especially when there's, you know, opposite sexes involved. Like, if there's female and male players, like, some players don't know how to, like, act around, you know, women or men or whatever, vice versa. Like it's can be a problem on both sides. It's god, that can be a problem. We have not had that. We also haven't had any female players.
That's true. We don't know women.
I know my wife would not. My wife has played D&D. She's played a couple sessions.
Yeah, you got to get your wives in here.
Well, she had the idea that it'd be funny to play D&D, like a fun session with my dad playing, and I thought that would actually be hilarious as like a one-off, like my dad trying to play D&D.
Do it.
Just like Dungeons and Dads or something. I don't know. I think that would be hilarious.
Did you do it?
No, like to do that for the stream.
Oh my god!
Like Father's Day, like we could bring all the dads in.
I don't know because I want my dad to have fun on Father's Day.
Hey, my dad.
Oh my god, my dad would fucking hate every instant of playing D&D.
Also using 0.35 opacity with the steric and with the star. Oh, this star. It can set the illusion of a water leak. Spread it a tiny bit and then click it to spread more. Like with like a water overlay. Yeah, I might do that. That's not a bad idea. Do that after. Here, I'm learning things. Realized Fledgling Gamer was gonna come in here and start
more like the power gamer.
Power gamer over here. Power map maker. No, hey man, I've never claimed to be an Inkarnate expert. I just have used it many times, and these are the tricks I've picked up. And
except that in your title it says map making with Inkarnate Pro, so you're calling yourself a pro.
No, fuck.
Wow, what an asshole!
Wow, I can see where the issue is now. The program is called Inkarnate Pro, but now I'm getting it. Now I'm getting it.
Mm-hmm. Can't believe you're such a conceited asshole.
Yeah, I
Jesus.
know, right? You can't believe that after I've killed after I've killed your character so many times.
Yeah, take it back.
On purpose.
Your campaigns suck.
Yeah, 0 effort campaigns.
Yeah, that's right.
Chester Flanagan, an ASMR fathomless warlock entertainer, background exotic dancer. I love him already. He is super flamboyant, summons his tentacle to use it as a stripper pole. He uses the light cantrip on his speedo and prestidigitation for pyrotechnics. That sounds incredible.
I think I had a bard who would use like I think I wasted like 7 spell slots just for like performing a rock show.
Yeah.
And it was in Josh's campaign. I got to use it once and like it was awesome. It didn't really do anything for the party, but it was cool.
Josh's campaigns were interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
and by interesting is a word to use for it.
He put a lot of effort in them, that's for sure.
He did. He absolutely did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he could be watching, so.
No, I'm not talking shit. Like he put effort in.
Shit.
I just think that I think part of the reason why I didn't like it is because he did a lot of like homebrew stuff.
He loved to homebrew,
and
yes.
kind of like rules. Like he was really loose with the rules, which I would much rather just go with the book.
So that's actually an interesting. Sorry to cut you off there a little bit, Jason. But
no, that's fine. That's fine.
One idea that possibly Jason you may be able to feed off of is, you have to go on patrol soon since you're stuck at work. Patrol. Like a fucking.
You're either a cop or a rent-a-cop.
Security or like.
That's definitely security.
SWAT team. Yeah, there's like a fucking bank robber right now. He's just like, I'm just watching Twitch. Like I'll be there in a second.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said rent-a-cop. Is that like your N-word?
Like yeah, dude.
Oh, no. God damn it, Logan.
Logan, what are we gonna do with you?
I haven't said anything wrong yet.
Well, Fledgling, whenever you do have to go, let us know. It's been a joy having you here. Thank you so much. Consider tossing a follow if you haven't yet.
We have a Discord.
No, Fledgling has joined. He sent us all the maps.
I'll shut up.
Logan has a tough time paying attention. It's okay. But yeah, it was good. It was good to chat maps. We do stream actual playing D&D every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. PST. So this little podcast FungeonCast thing is just something we do every now and then.
What are we calling it? Woefully ignorant.
Possibly.
Mine. We gotta TM it.
Anyway, so I was talking about the rules.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the rules, like I'm okay. Like you guys know me. Like I will homebrew something. If it's like if I don't if the rule doesn't exist or it's too complicated and I want to make my own version that's less complicated. And that was a huge problem in Pathfinder when we played that. Yes. I homebrewed a lot of stuff in Pathfinder because there was a lot of things that I was like, that is just too complicated.
Yeah.
And most of it was just rewording of the rules, and it ended up usually being what they intended, which was a big thing with Pathfinder, was rules as intended.
No, that's a whole nother podcast. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Rules as intended versus rules as written.
Rules as written and rules as intended, 100%. And that's a huge thing with Pathfinder. With D&D 5e, I have found that rules as written for the most part, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
It works 99% of the time.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like homebrewing in 5th edition, like I'm okay with it. It's usually when like to be honest, like if a DM says like, oh yeah, this is my homebrew world, I've homebrewed a bunch of classes that you can be, or you can be the base classes, I'll probably like be like, nah, it's fine. I might take a quick look at the classes, but I would probably not play in that world because it's very hard to homebrew balanced classes. Like for example, this one game I played in, there was like a Psi monk or something like that, who used like psychic powers, and it was a total homebrew class that the guy made, and everyone else was oh yeah, there could only be one per party, and the other guy
it was broken.
Yeah, so so there could only be one per party, and it was the main character, which already it's like, okay, so wait, there's a main character. That's kind of red flags, right? And so everything was about this Psi monk, and I was like a druid or something, and the Psi monk, of course, was like super OP and had all these like extra powers, and I'm like, cool. And he had like extra attacks and stuff per turn, like beyond what a normal monk would have, and did extra damage, and was the only one who could commune with the Psi lords or some.
He had extra attacks on top of a monk's extra attacks.
Exactly. Yes. Like he had like 4 attacks per turn when you're like level 1. So it was ridiculous. It was too much, and I just like that's a serious red flag for me is when people do stuff like that and they're like, oh yeah, it'd be so cool. And that comes back to the like, oh, this is my novel that you guys are playing, and I've already chosen the main character, and this is how you guys are going to react to this, and this is what you guys will think, and oh, you guys are going to love this character. Yeah. It was all the things that we talk about, like I don't want to say like you shouldn't do this, but at the same time, like I don't know, I think I could say like you shouldn't, certain things you shouldn't do, that just like,
this isn't Geralt, it's my original character, Blairald.
Geralt. Yeah.
So my thinking on it is this, is that like I'm of the same mind. Like if somebody's got like homebrew classes and stuff, I have an aversion to it. I'm like, I don't know about that, Chief.
I'll hear them out, but I'm likely going to be like, yeah, you know what, I'm busy every day.
Yes, because you know, like I don't think people respect how hard it is to, you know, make a class. I don't think people respect how hard it is to come up with a class concept and make it function within a rule set.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And like if you want to make your own rule set and do that, like it's hard stuff. Like there's a reason why this is the 5th edition of D&D, and there are a ton of, I'm pretty sure there's been revisions within the 5e rule set, and like D&D's been around, like I don't know when 1.0 came out. I'm probably going to look it up right now.
Early to mid 70s, I believe.
I thought it was like late 70s. I don't know. I didn't play it because I wasn't born yet.
That's true.
I wish I grew up with D&D. That is one thing that's like, I can't say that, and it makes me sad that I can't say like, oh yeah, I grew up playing this. I only started playing D&D words.
I just call it D.
I only started playing D, like not that long ago, like a few years ago.
74.
Yeah, like 74.
77 is the date that I'm getting.
Okay.
My point is that you know, like the rule set for D&D has been evolved and iterated upon to get to where it is now for, what is that, like almost 50 years?
Yeah, and through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of collective hours of playing.
Yes, like there's literally been millions and millions of hours played of this game and feedback given and all of that jazz. And like I would say like I don't know how balanced D&D is because there's certainly some very broken seeming stuff and you can make some silly shit. And but like all of I don't feel like any one class like towers above any other class unless like I feel like they all have the potential to be good, right? Like
Yeah, it depends how you play them, right? Like
yeah, absolutely. But the point is like that only comes from balancing the game for almost 50 years, right?
Yeah.
It's and I know, oh no, Dota, but it's the same with Dota in that,
oh god, I'm just kidding.
it's an incredibly complex game that has just a ton of moving parts. But the guy who makes it has been making the same game and actively balancing it for like 15 years,
It's
right?
Yeah.
it's like Dwarf Fortress. It's so balanced.
I don't think you can even say the word Dwarf Fortress and balance. Like that's not even like balance to what?
Hey,
Like,
Fledgling, thanks for the follow. Oh, you heading out now?
Makes no goddamn sense.
All right, well have a good patrol.
Yeah, thanks, Fledgling. We appreciate you coming over.
If you see any weirdos, send them our way.
If you see any weirdos, shoot them.
No,
Oh,
don't. Oh my god, for legal reasons.
Don't listen to a word this man
for
says.
legal reasons, that's a joke.
You started playing in
Goddamn.
1981. Damn, I am
That's
jealous. Yeah, like I said, I only started like a few years ago, like not long ago, and I started with 5th edition. I have played,
which was a mistake.
yeah, I have played like games that like video games that are based on the 3.5, so I kind of know, but I don't really know. And I played Baldur's Gate 1, so. 30 minutes. Yeah, we should still be on in about half an hour, I think.
Yeah, we'll be on probably till about 11 or so.
Just jog through your patrol.
Just sprint. Or just don't do it.
My homebrew classes all have action economy balances to try and make them better, but certain multi-classing can break it. It's difficult because my tactician has commands as an action and gets extra commands instead of extra attack. Commands are used to give other players reactions on his command. Yeah, no, kudos to you. I'm not saying that you can't do homebrew classes. Absolutely, that is not. It's very. I never want to say you can't do anything. I always try and shy away from saying that because someone will come along and say like actually and prove you wrong like right away because that's what humans do. They figure out ways to make things work. We put a man on the moon for God's sakes. Anyway, yeah, but it's just I like what Jason said. Some people do not realize how difficult it is to achieve a modicum of balance. And again, like when somebody tells me like, oh yeah, my world is full of these homebrew classes and stuff, it's a small red flag for me, but I'm willing to hear them out. But as soon as I start to see like, oh, time mage who can spend a bonus action to take someone's turn and cause them to attack their friends, it's like okay, like something that sounds really cool on paper, but then in practice it's like, okay, well, if you can use a bonus action to basically completely crowd control an enemy, then that enemy will never have a chance to do anything. That kind of stuff it slips through the net.
Yeah.
You started 25 when you were 25 3 years ago. Yeah, so I mean, when did I start? When did we do our big Pathfinder campaign? I think we came up with a date last time, but I can't remember what that date was.
The last like 10 years for me all blur together pretty
Oh god.
much. Yeah, it's what happens when you get old.
When did I start playing D&D? Because I know Logan and my old roommate Dallas, once we tried to play a game called Battle Axe, which was another tabletop game that was, I think, a little bit simpler than D&D. And I remember thinking that was really cool. But we only played like one session of it because, like, I don't remember. We just kind of were just like, oh, that was cool. Let's do it again sometime. And then we just never did it. But I liked the idea, and it always stuck with me, like the like tabletop role playing. But I never really thought that I would enjoy it as much as I have, and like that it would completely take over my life. But yeah, when I first started playing, was Josh invited me to his campaign actually, and I played my dwarven bard Gorehammer Mountain Slam, who was a complete piece of shit, and like I am willing to admit that I was not the best character to DM for. You know how Corin sometimes like does things and you're like, oh my god, why did you do that? Jason?
What, sorry?
Do you know how Corin sometimes does things and you're like, oh my god, why did he do that?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
That was like everything Gorehammer did. Like I was just like, I think I was just like, I was just obsessed with like doing things. I was just like, yeah, do this, and like I was obsessed with the character of. It was in a way that I was like, what is what my character would do, and I was like, oh, and I cringed thinking about it, but that's kind of what I did. Like, a guard wasn't giving me information, and I like picked him up by the scruff of the neck, and I was like, listen here, you son of a bitch, and they're like, oh my god, the other guards are looking at you. I'm like, and I like put him down and I put him down after I like patted him off, but then we ended up getting chased by guards through the street. It was funny, but at the same time, I'm like, I almost killed us all. And it was like my session 1, my first time playing. To defend Corrin, though, that time where, like, I remember, I ran up to the door, right? And, like, you guys are like, what are you doing? Like, I had asked everyone, like, okay, what's the plan? Should we retreat or should we do this? And kind of like everyone's like, I don't know. I was like, all right. So my idea was to, because I couldn't see Rimbus, and I think I couldn't see like Gra or something. Like, we were all scattered. As far as I knew, we were all scattered. I didn't know where we were, and the enemies could come from multiple fronts. So I was like, okay, I need to put a stop to this one front. So I ran up to the door. I knew I could make it there. I was like, that'll be cool because I can teleport, which was just awesome. So I was like, I'm gonna teleport up there and like slam the door shut, and then the whole crowbar thing I think was your idea, which ended up working really well. So it's like, perfect. We've kind of eliminated one front for a little bit, and now we can get our guys gathered and kind of regroup. So that was my whole idea. I wasn't trying to like get us all killed. I actually did have a thought process. I feel like Mitch's reaction was like, what are you doing? What? Is this bad? I have an idea. Are you sure you want to do that? It's always great when the DM says, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
You're like, oh god.
Whenever that question is asked, it is the most I'm not sure anymore.
Well, I hate being asked that question. I'm like, I'm doing something wrong, but like my heart is in the right place. I'm trying to generate things. Like with Corrin in the door that wouldn't open, like that episode. Like, I don't know why, but Corrin had to get in that door.
I like there,
and the world was a better place for it.
I agree. Like there's this like, it's a big meme that like, oh, it's what my character would do.
Yeah, huge meme.
When players act unhinged or do really radical things. But to some level, like, you do have to look at like how, like, you should, I should say, like, if you're gonna do like RP and like participate in the story and be an active participant in the world, it is good to look at things and be like, okay, well, like, I feel like this about this situation, but how does my character feel? Like, for a far more, I think, subtle example of this is that half the time I'm playing Carrot, I'm listening to you guys talk about stuff and I'm listening to you guys say stuff, and you're just missing things that I think are really important to point out and think about. And I'm just sitting here literally internally screaming because you're like when you're gonna send Droop in, I'm thinking like immediately my thought process is, he's a fucking goblin. If he goes and talks to other goblins, he's gonna and we haven't been treating him well. He's gonna be like, there's a bunch of assholes over there, and here's some booze.
No, he's our friend.
He's a fucking goblin that we took hostage.
Look, I guess we saved him.
No.
He was being beaten.
Yeah, by us.
No. He was being beaten by hobgoblins or something.
Was he?
Yeah, he was being like he was in the cave where
I thought he was just they were like playing cards or something.
No. He was like on the floor getting stomped, and we saved him. And he was like, "Oh my God, how could I thank you?" And I was like, "Carry my beer." He's like, "Okay." And so yeah, he just goes around carrying now that Corin is immune to alcohol for the next 30 days. He carries my tankard that never runs dry, and yeah. And I thought we had a thing. And then when he fell off the bridge, Corin saved him and the beer.
And the beer. my point is, like, that just wasn't the fact that the goblin was just undyingly loyal to us was just never questioned. And Carrot's too fucking dumb, like fucking empty between the ears to have even considered questioning that. So I can't say anything.
Yeah.
But a more pronounced example of this is literally like how you play Corrin. And yeah, Corrin is a weird, unpredictable, unhinged guy, and it is fucking fantastic. The shit with like just the way that you play him is so fucking funny. It's fantastic. Like it's great. Like and so like even when it comes to like it's what my character would do, like it depends. Like there isn't like it's a meme because edge lords will use it as an excuse to kill the receptionist or whatever, right? But like I think that it's such an important thing to factor into how you actually act, and that's something that for a long time playing D&D I struggled with, where I would do just what do I see as the optimal play to do. I wouldn't think of, well, how does my character feel about doing this? Like, are they morally okay with doing this? Are they going to think of doing this? Like, how smart are they? I never considered any of that. I'd just be like, oh yeah, he just does the optimal thing and whatever. And that's something that I've been trying to do a lot more of, is like actually playing my character rather than using my character as just a device that I control within the game.
Right, yeah.
And like I said, like you do such. I fucking love Corrin.
Corrin has been fun to play. He's unhinged. That's
Corrin is a great character because he thinks he's like hot shit, but he's actually just terrible.
Yeah.
He's not terrible.
He's
come on.
So he he thinks he's got like main character syndrome. He thinks he's really smart, and he thinks he has everything figured out.
Yeah.
And these are questionable at best. Like, he's not the worst, and he's not explicitly a bad guy, but he's really conceited, and he's really selfish, and he's not a very nice guy.
No,
like
he's not.
He like Carrot is the most Carrot is the most innocent, like happy thing, like just genuine, most gullible, stupid bastard on the face of the earth, and he takes advantage of it full tilt. And it's fucking hilarious that he does. It's great. It's great. Like, it's just the way that you've characterized him is just fucking great. I actually think the way that all of our characters are going in that is like just fucking great.
Yeah, I'm having a great time.
Here's a great post from the D&D subreddit. You ready for this?
How do you like this for the light?
That looks cool.
Yeah. I could have maybe put a night filter on.
This is the title. Anyone got any cool prompts for a world? First time DM here. I need funny ideas for a campaign. End of post. Wow.
I need funny ideas for a campaign?
I think this guy might be like 12.
I mean...
funny idea... Like, what do you...
That is such a hard question.
That's
to
a
answer.
really like loaded question. I don't.
So
what's the opposite of a loaded question?
An unloaded question, obviously. So that's a really interesting question because like you said, it's probably a younger guy or somebody who doesn't really know what they're getting into. And like what is the answer to that? Like if it is your first time DMing and you're playing with people who haven't played before or you're not really familiar with them, I would say run a module. Like run whatever the hell minds of whatever the fuck that we're doing now. Like I think that doing something like that is the play in that respect, because like I think a lot of people, when they look at doing a campaign or writing a story of any description, not necessarily just a D&D campaign, but doing any sort of storytelling,
BRB.
Yep. They need to do this like 4D chess, like fucking complicated Game of Thrones mixed with like fucking Final Fantasy storyline where they have all these moving parts and everything's really unique and interesting, and that is the worst place to start for any story, period, even if you're really talented at writing stories or running campaigns, right?
Yeah.
Because like anyway, Lurk to head off to bed. That map looks amazing. All right, you have a good night.
Thanks, Radar.
Radar. Bye, I love you.
We will see you hopefully soon. Maybe Tuesday.
Hopefully Tuesday.
Hopefully Tuesday.
But like but like there is it is such a bad play to go for like these crazy complicated things. So if somebody is like, so if somebody was to ask me like, what should I do or where should I start for like a D&D campaign, you're in a bar and you have to go kill goblins. The El Clasico, just start with that. Because the interesting thing about playing D&D and the interesting thing about like stories and that, like is the character interactions and watching characters react to interesting scenarios and situations or get into trouble trying things, right? Like something like using a simple baseline and then like fleshing that out a little bit in interesting ways and allowing people to like giving like a bit of a playground for your players to play around with is a way better idea than trying to write fucking Game of Thrones but having it be like a fucking railroad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's something that a lot of people get caught up in, is like they have to write this like magnum opus, like I don't even fucking know, like fucking what's his name, what's the horror novelist's name that writes like huge
Stephen King?
complicated, yeah, Stephen King, like they're all trying to write like complicated Stephen King novels or something.
Yeah,
Game
I
of Thrones.
mean, one thing I've learned, because you know what, I'm guilty of doing that thing you just said, is like I'm guilty of making like a story that's far too complicated for its own good, and it ends up like the players are just like I don't know what's happening right now, sort of thing. I'm having some difficulties here trying to basically create like a shadow of like this torch is going here, and then create like a shadow this way. Don't know how to do that though.
Let's what's the shadow piece that you had just now?
It's just a light but colored black, so it's not really working for me though.
You might have to, well, there's like a shadow, that'll be a pain in the ass though.
Well, see, I think I might just do something like this. Right? Like, see it kind of like angle it away, sort of deal. That kind of works, actually.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That could work, yep.
It's just it's a subtle detail. I didn't need it to be like, crazy end of the world nonsense. And I wanted to have like a little light coming in here, as if it's like the outside.
Yeah, I think the light coming in through the door will be a good touch.
But that's a different color light. It's outside, and outside looks different than inside. Just do it. All right. Go something like that. Yeah, I like the look of that. That looks cool.
Yep.
That's a really orange torch, but
that is. I was gonna say like that is quite orange.
I kind of like it though. Is it too orange? I can make it a little less orange. I can make it like that. That's pretty good.
Did that make it less orange or just less bright?
Well, less bright because there was two stacked on top of each other. I can make it less orange actually.
I think making the color of the light a little less orange is the play.
How about yellow?
I don't know that I would go with yellow. I would go with
Ooh, I like that. Oh, that's really cool.
Oh my. That looks cool. Like the purpley. All of those colors look good. Like obviously because it's a fire torch and all that, and fire is the most common source of light in these kinds of scenarios, having something that's a little like orange is going to be the most quote unquote boring looking option. But I don't think it's necessarily the wrong option.
I actually kind of like that. I know it's like kind of cartoony and orangey, but at the same time it looks kind of cool.
No, I like that. Yeah, like I think that looks fine.
Yeah. Thank you. And you can't really see the... If I could drag it down a bit. There we go. I can see that a little bit better. Cool. That looks good. All right. Yeah. There, one down. Because what I wanted to do was do one here with like shadows coming through the bars as well.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Little details and stuff. Let's get this guy over yonder. Like that. Oops. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
What the fuck?
Oh, you know, just fucking dicking around. Something like that.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to help Michaela fucking get ready for work.
No worries.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Oh, you want to see that line though? That's the thing. There we go. That works.
Just yeah, that's looking all right.
Yeah, just trying to get that little shadow behind the edge there. Oh, that needs...
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's doing its job, I think.
There we go. Yeah, we'll leave it like that.
To very quickly TLDR, what I finished answering that question with, Logan, yep. Where to start a campaign, and it's clearly somebody that hasn't. I think they said that they were brand new to the game.
Yeah, and they also appear to be 12. I did look through their post history. Yeah, they're definitely 12.
Which is fine. That's
fine. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying they're 12.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. And like, without like repeating the rant, the long and short of it is like a lot of people try too hard to like make a really complicated story. They don't want to do like something toned down or boring.
Yeah,
you know, they try to make like fucking Game of Thrones for their first time writing something, because you know, and just where to start a campaign. If you're intent on doing homebrew for like your first campaign, in a bar or in a tavern, fucking goblins. That is where
in a tavern, fucking goblins. Maybe
goblins come in and raid.
I don't mean like goblins in the tavern. I mean you start the adventure in the tavern and
you're fucking goblins. Got it.
And yeah, you have to go and just have sex with goblins. That is your goal. No, like obviously, like you're
next campaign.
You're tasked with going and killing some goblins for whatever reason. Like that's literally what the one that we're doing right now starts with, right? And you know, like
Which one? Oh, the Lost Mines?
Yeah, the Lost Mines thing. Like that's what it starts with. Well, no, it's we find a cart that's like overturned.
Yeah, we were guarding a cart or something, or no.
I'm 90% like the very first thing that we do, I'm pretty sure is like a cart or something that we're supposed to be guiding. We stumble upon being
or we're supposed to
overturned.
meet Gundren Rockseeker and we find his cart.
Yeah.
Fucking all over the place.
Yeah, and it was goblins, right? Like that's spoiler alert, goblins. Like that's the setup, right? Is that, you know, like if you want to do homebrew and write your own story, just something really just simple as could be, because you can always flesh it out with details and make it more interesting through, you know, throwing in an interesting villain that
Well,
acts
also
like
seeing
crazy
what your players, like if your players are reacting to certain things and like oh, this is really cool, we should find out about that. And if you don't really have like a main sort of like if you have something that's too convoluted and crazy, there's not really enough room for you to have that that improv that's really important in D&D.
Exactly.
Give a nice view of this. That looks pretty good. I like those torches.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking a little more detailed than the other one you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
how long have you guys been a D&D group and how many campaigns have you had? Okay, so first question's very difficult to answer because all of us forget, but campaigns, I mean, best guess, how long have we been?
Like us 6 is what you're asking.
Well, us 3, because I mean, so we've been in part of, you know, a few different groups.
Oh, right, because yeah, it's just us 3 right now. Yeah, so well, I mean, if like I played with Jason for the first time in college, so like 80 years ago, roughly.
Yeah.
And then I played with Joel considerably later.
Yeah.
Like way later. Like
I was saying
I was
really
back from Calgary at that point.
I was saying we played Battle Axe, right, at one point.
There was a feeble, drunken, disorganized attempt to play an RPG called Battle Axe, which, from like honestly, now I would love to go back and try it because like now that I actually know what I'm doing. If you just go to it's not battleaxe.com. Let me quickly find it. This is a decent shout out.
Oops. Okay, I didn't want to save, but there you go.
I haven't looked at this in a while, so I don't know what the state is in, but I bought the book like randomly on a whim, like literally close to 10 years ago. Probably maybe like a little more. Yeah. But around 10 years ago. And I got the paperback book. I hadn't ever played an RPG at that point, really. Like except for the one we did in college a little bit, but that was only one session. Anyway, so me, Joel, and Joel's roommate Dallas at the time. Maybe I should have named him. Whatever. Dallas is a cool guy for the most part.
Yeah. For the most.
I don't have anything bad to say about him. Anyways, so
yeah, Dallas is great.
I attempted. I mean, you lived with him, so you would know more than I would.
Yeah, Dallas is awesome.
Yeah, Dallas is fun.
Why do you hate Dallas?
Shout out to Dallas.
Sorry, go on.
Shout out to Dallas.
Shout out to Dallas.
Shout out to Dallas.
Dallas, if you're watching, shout out to you.
Can you imagine?
All right, who are we shouting out?
Dallas.
Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Not Dallas Green, right? Unfortunately.
Who the hell is Dallas Green?
City and Color. You and I saw his concert together, Jason.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What? We did?
And Duncan.
At this rate, Logan will never finish this story.
No, this is what the story is about now.
I don't remember going to a concert. Oh yeah, never mind. I do.
Oh my god.
My god.
I'm sorry. My memory is terrible.
Yeah, I know.
It took a minute, but I remember.
I know.
Okay, no, okay, sorry. Let me finish my first thing before we go off on a completely different tangent. Battle Axe RPG, Joel and Dallas and myself played a game. I tried to run it. I had barely read the book. I didn't know how to run an RPG. I'm pretty sure I gave Joel and Dallas character sheets.
Yep.
And you made characters.
Yeah.
And I basically just completely improv'd. Like I hadn't prepared anything.
Yeah.
Like I think the extent of my preparation was the characters enter a house.
Baby dragon.
And there's for some reason was a baby dragon.
Yeah, the baby dragon was a big part of it.
Because you guys wanted to fight something like
right away.
You guys wanted to actually fight and do something, and you're like, just make us fight a dragon. I'm like, I can't make you fight a dragon. Like, you'll just die. I'm like, oh, I want to fight a small dragon. And so I found that in the book there was an entry for a baby dragon.
Yeah, and like, just lo and behold,
in swoops a baby dragon.
a baby dragon.
And yeah, it was just a mess. I think we had fun, so that's all that really mattered. Again,
we didn't play it again.
We didn't play it again. It was clearly like, I mean, I didn't do a good job as a guy running a session of a game. Like you need to be like the ringleader, like really, especially if the other two just don't know anything about the game or playing a tabletop in general, right?
Yeah.
Because at that point, Joel, I'm pretty sure you didn't like give a shit about D&D.
Oh no, I had no idea. Like,
yeah,
I was like, oh, this seems kind of cool. Let's play that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, no, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, set in the war-ravaged world of Mordretica.
My God.
Ancient battlefield of the gods and prison of the 40 sorcerers. This sounds fucking sweet.
Yeah, let's just fucking let's not play D&D anymore. Let's play that.
Yeah, because they have.
Sorry, poster boy. The second answer to the second question. How many campaigns?
How many campaigns? Depends how you define like.
Well, no, it doesn't. Well, like finished campaigns or just campaigns in general.
Finished like one or two.
We have finished one.
Yeah.
Only ever finished one.
The three of us together have been a part of the space campaign, the one that we finished, and then you did the mini thing, and then
anything.
Yeah, the heart of ice.
The first time he murdered one of my characters.
yeah, right. Yeah, heart of ice.
Shut up. You and your nonsense. We mostly do homebrew. I'm a huge fan of homebrewing. I have never run a pre-made module before. Don't think.
I don't think you've DM'd one, no.
No. The first time I did a homebrew thing was the very start of our Pathfinder campaign. That was actually like that cave that you guys started in. That was actually a like from the Pathfinder like training booklet. I don't know if you guys ever knew that. Yeah.
The cave itself, or the encounter.
The cave and most of the encounters and stuff that happened in there was from like the Pathfinder like tutorial book.
Like the first one that like you me, Chris, or us three, Chris and Rob did. That was
our group.
Yeah.
That cave. That only just that cave. Everything else was all me.
I genuinely had no idea. I thought it was just all entirely homebrew.
Nope. I mean, I homebrewed a bunch in it, but the whole cave layout and like the guy killing you all, that was all me.
Yeah.
The dude murdering you. You know how I love to murder you.
We did it. Yeah. I forgot we did like a session 0 kind of like.
It was a session 0.5 because we had a session 0 and then we had a session 0.5 because none of us really knew how to play Pathfinder. So we're like, let's see if we can figure out the rules.
Yeah. And I think if I remember correctly, you kind of had characters set up for us that we got to choose.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot about that.
Oh my God.
I really like.
What's his name? Starts with a V. It's not Volcram. It's like one of the Pathfinder like main heroes.
I don't know.
Starts with a V, I think.
I used to know it. I'm just gonna look it up.
He was the only survivor. All the other characters were all like Pathfinder heroes, and they all died. And then Buddy Boy was the only survivor. That's the one Mitch was playing. And then he ended up being one of the NPCs that you guys talked with a bunch, and he was like kind of trying to avenge his friends who died.
Right.
Which I thought was a kind of a cool little.
I actually really liked the character that I played during that. Because I was playing the you had I can't remember what class he was. I think he was a wizard, and he was either a wizard or a sorcerer or a warlock. One of those. Like he was a pure caster. And I remember playing him.
He was probably a wizard, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was a wizard. I just remember playing him as like that super conceited, like obsessed with his looks archetype. Like his spell focus was a fucking mirror, and he would like look into it and then do finger pistols to shoot his spells.
My god.
That's awesome.
I need to play that character again. I need to bring it back.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with
He's
him.
a regular old
Maximilian
Maximilian. Maximilian Goldfeather.
Yeah, he was the beta of Maximilian.
What is the best way to do this? I think the best way to do this is to take this thing, copy it, paste the thing. Did we answer Poster Boy's question?
Knowing us, no. How many modules or many homebrew campaigns, or is it how many campaigns? How many campaigns do Jason and I and Joel together? 3, probably. Done any modules? Very few. We mostly do just stuff that Joel has made for the most part.
There you go.
Yeah.
That kind of worked right there.
That actually works really well. Yeah, that works really well.
The same here.
We've done a couple modules run by members who are normally players. Like Mitch is running the Lost Mines of Fendor. Yeah, Fendelver. I will never remember that name.
This does not work as well.
I used to not be able to do it.
Which is a really common starter module. I want to say Logan and I have run that twice. I think I'm pretty sure one of the first times we played the game we ran that.
Fendelver?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
You guys did?
No.
No?
Logan says no.
we didn't do the whole thing, but you might.
Was I running it?
You ran the very first session that any of us did together. Like it wasn't the first time it was the session where I was the only one who had played D&D before, and I'm pretty sure you ran that session.
Yeah.
And that was Joel obviously wasn't there because it was like us the college group, right?
Yeah.
And it was, like me, you, Mitch, Chris, Eric, and Saul, I think, were the ones that played in that first one. And I could have sworn we didn't start. The weird thing is, this is what I remember. We didn't start like on the I'm like 99% sure we didn't start like outside the cave, like where the cart was or anything. We started outside the mansion because I distinctly remember the mansion layout, like the thing that we broke into like the basement level of a mansion in the first one that we did.
Yeah.
And the layout of that was identical to the layout of the the basement floor of the mansion when Mitch was running the mines thing this time.
Maybe.
So I don't know why we started there, or maybe they reused that asset for a different module and I'm mistaken. But I so distinctly, we broke down the door and there's a bunch of barrels on that map, and I was picking up the barrels and I was like not the barrels, I was picking up apples out of the barrels and like mage handing them at things to do like 1d4 damage. And there was like a point where they picked up like the portcullis and like smashed something with it. But then there was like a scorpion thing in there too, so I don't know. Maybe they just reused that opening start and you used a different module.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I need to interrupt.
Go ahead.
This is completely irrelevant.
That's okay.
Not even close to what we were talking about, but
Excellent.
It's very important.
Okay.
Because it's just really funny, and it's even funnier because my coworker, Adib, he said that he has a PS. He's not a gamer, but he has a PS4. He like never games, and he said he randomly just cause he bought like the new NBA 2K22, I think, 2K22.
Yep.
Because he likes basketball, but he's like, yeah, $90 for a new game. I'm like, yeah, fucking tell me about it. Although $90, he probably bought like a deluxe version of it or something.
Oh, those new sports games are fucking pricey.
Anyways, so because he mentioned that, and I just happened to see this video on Twitter, is good. It's in the Twitch chat. It's very funny.
How do I other?
I cannot look at it. I'm too focused.
That's fine. Oh, I fucking love that shit.
Describe it to me.
Just it's an 18-second clip.
It's long story short, they have their like custom campaign story thing in those new sports games now, where you make a custom character.
Yeah.
And this kind of goofy looking custom character clearly is talking to like his agent or something who's sitting at a table, and he says some stuff and he's like, yeah, I'm ready to put in the work, like tell me what I need to do. And the agent guy's like, all right, here's what you do. And he just
who looks like George Costanza, basically.
Yeah, and he just kind of leads to the side of his desk and silence, and he says nothing for like 10 seconds. And then
and is staring at the player like he's saying something to him, but he's not. He's just standing or staring in silence.
He's not moving his mouth. He's just staring at the player character. And then the player character's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds good." And he's like,
"Oh yeah, I got you."
Yeah, and they just continue the conversation. Like it's just it bugs out and it doesn't play like a 10-second clip.
Yeah, like it just doesn't load his like game plan dot wave.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's good. That's
just
good
fucking stares at him.
See, that's comedy.
That's
good comedy.
That's
it's good
I've
shit.
heard
like if somebody that I knew watched that and told me that it wasn't funny, I would cut them out of my life.
Wow.
Mom, I need you to watch something. It's very important.
It's a good thing I lied and said it was funny.
I found it was funny.
No, that's legitimately fucking hilarious.
I can tell by your raucous laughter.
Apparently those newer like
Hey, Fledgling Gamer's back.
Welcome back. Apparently they're just like buggy messes, which is unfortunate.
I mean, a lot of games are.
More so than like your standard, they didn't, do a bug pass before they released this. Apparently
they didn't do enough of them.
Yeah. It just is apparently just an absolute fucking shit show mess. Like the state of sports games right now is just fucking disgusting. Luckily I don't care because I don't know what sports are, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
Cyberpunk? Oh my god.
I just looked up 2K22 glitches. Unlimited VC glitch method in 3 minutes.
Fledgling Gamer, do not get me started on Cyberpunk. We will be here all night.
Why?
All day
it was a quick release that had no issues.
Logan, what are you trying to do right now?
What are you trying to do?
I would love to live in the reality where Cyberpunk 2077 came out and it was everything that it was promised to be.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Like that would think about how wonderful that would have been.
I think about that every day.
I mean, nothing can live to the extreme hype. This was like the extreme example of it.
So
I mean, there's extreme hype, and then there's also just releasing something that doesn't work.
No, absolutely. For sure.
Anybody who says that. So you're right. Some things are just hyped to the point where the reality is not possible to
it's just
not
works.
possible to meet the hype. Like that there are some things where that is just true. And is there an element of that would be true with Cyberpunk no matter what? Yes, there would always be people who were detractors of Cyberpunk 2077 if it came out and was everything that it was promised to be. The problem with Cyberpunk 2077 is that not only was it not even kind of what they promised it to be, it was clearly entirely unfinished.
Yeah.
I watched, and this was a common bug. The main you do the big opening thing.
I know what you're gonna say.
You do the big opening thing.
Whoa, spoiler alert.
And this isn't really spoilers because I'm not going to say any names or anything, although if you've played the game, it's going to be clear what character I'm talking about. The opening has you eventually when it's finishing like the little like prologue or whatever, you're in a car driving away from something, trying to find a safe spot, and a character has something like a chip in their head that he's going to take out of his head and hand to you because he's like, not long for this world or whatever.
And just to interject, you steal it in a great intro.
Oh yeah,
like all things considered, the intro to Cyberpunk was fantastic.
So the scenario that they had set up was not the problem. There was a few issues with stuff that really kind of sucked that they skipped because you get to choose like your background, and playing through your background is like a 15-minute affair, not even, and they kind of set it up to be like this big thing where they had like 3 long kind of sections before it goes into the actual prelude, and then after the prelude you go into like the main game, but it's mostly just that prelude chunk. But that prelude chunk is good.
Really.
But like it was a huge dramatic moment, and a character that I cared about up until that point was, dying, and he's handing me this thing.
This important chip.
This important chip that we just jacked from some company or something. And the game glitched out, and right before he reached to his head and pulled out this chip, a fucking gun starts poking out of the side of his head. Because the game loaded the wrong model for the chip and loaded a giant fucking gun.
Instead of loading chip.obj, it loaded gun.obj.
Yes, literally.
Oh my god.
Like literally.
And like this guy's a big dude, and he was running around the game with like just giant fucking Desert Eagle guns. So he has the barrel of the gun sticking out of the side of his head, and the grip from the gun sticking directly out of the top of his head. And he plucks his fingers into the side of his head and pulls out and is holding the gun like it's this chip. And this whole fucking time I am howling with laughter because it's genuinely fucking hilarious to see because it came out of left field.
But it's not supposed to be.
I liked that character, and it's supposed to be this huge, dramatic, high octane car chase moment, and I'm sitting there barely able to see because I'm laughing so hard I'm literally crying.
And it's funny because I think Jason honestly had a better experience watching that like cutscene than I did.
Yeah,
because like I'm because like it was sad, like you come to like this character because he's cool.
Yeah, I really liked him.
Like like again, really great intro, like fantastic. And then I was like actually sad, like I'm like, oh man, like this is actually like a huge bummer. I kind of knew like
yeah
like it's that trope,
Yeah.
But like I was invested, and I was like, oh, that's really sad this character's dead. And then I hear Jason like say that, I'm like, oh, that's way better. That's a way better intro. Are you kidding me? Give me that one.
Yeah, give me that intro.
It was it was genuinely just fucking hilarious. But like legitimately, like yes, I enjoyed the hell out of that in the sense that I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. And it's a funny story to tell. But realistically, like it's just a sign of like how the entire game is. The entire game is I think they've been trying to fix bugs since it came out 8 months ago. 9 months ago now. But the entire thing was just broken to the degree where the entire experience was stuff like that, where it just fundamentally did not work.
Mm-hmm.
And like on top of that, like just the things that they've promised for that fucking game and what they delivered is like I don't want to sit here and rant about Cyberpunk for the next half an hour, but
good, because you only have to do it for the next 13 minutes.
That's true.
They promised like they literally would say
you
stuff
promised.
like, well, so their marketing revolved around doing videos that would say stuff like, "We are building the next generation of open worlds. We have thousands of NPCs in our world with simulated lives. These are real characters that go around and do things and have lives, and this is a world that you can go and live in." And then when you play the game, the NPCs in the world are literally particle a particle simulation around you. And what I mean by that is that as you run through the world, it loads dynamically, fucking air quotes, dynamically, just random character models within a 30-foot radius around you, and it's completely random. Like, you go down the street, you'll see like 12 duplicates of the same character. You turn around, and those characters aren't that you just walked by aren't going to be there.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
They had literally no AI attached to them, so they would literally just be like character models on a rail that walked down the street. They
Bystander 87.obj.
Yeah, like it just like, and if they hadn't, like, even if they hadn't said the other thing, which was a lofty goal, no doubt about it, but like the first 3D Grand Theft Auto had substantially better pedestrian AI, and substantially better car AI, and substantially better cop AI. Like,
yeah.
It's really bad sign when somebody plays Cyberpunk of all games, and you're like, you know what I really miss right now? GTA 3.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Like,
not even the newer ones they came
not
out.
even 4, not even 5.
I am not kidding.
3.
And I haven't played very much of the 2D PlayStation 1 versions of GTA, but I'm willing to bet that they
they're
had
great.
better. I'm willing. I think I've played one of them for a little bit, and the top down, the way they play, it's just it was not my thing.
It's very arcadey.
Yes.
Like hyper arcadey.
Like, whoever likes that is fine, just it's not really my thing. But I'm willing to bet that if you were to compare the systems and AI from that game, those two 2D top-down games, they would have better D&D. They would have better AI than Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk didn't have AI. We're talking like, you would literally shoot your gun, everybody on the street would crouch down covering their head, and if you turned away from them and then turned back, like if you turn the camera to face away from them and then turn back, they would literally have vanished.
Yeah.
So, in other words, if you shot your gun on a crowded street that had a ton of pedestrians on it and just spun in a circle, everybody would vanish and you'd be on an empty street.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
And then a cop would literally spawn directly behind you and kick your ass.
Dynamically.
Nothing personal, kid.
Nothing personnel, kid. He just comes up with him and his like 4 drones and like 5 cops all instantly materialize behind you. And like they literally said, "Oh, you're going to be able to bribe the cops to get them to fuck off when you're playing this." And it's just like this, it's just thing after thing after thing is just fundamentally unfinished. And like, where they promised there to be next generation in systems, there were no systems at all.
Fledgling Gamer, I was thinking about making a Patreon page for my DD&D match. Totally, do it.
I hear that.
That's something I've wanted to do for a while. I just don't know the logistics of it yet.
I mean, the logistics of like what you have to do is basically you just have to, just like, let's just say again, a map Patreon. You just have to put out maps every X amount of time or X amount of days. Like,
yeah, I just got to make sure I can actually
just set that.
Well, with doing the D&D thing as well, I got to make sure I can actually deliver on that.
No, for sure. That's why you don't put the number as something high that you can't deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you, I think you can even set it to be like a monthly thing, and then like people just be happy with whatever content you put out. I think you can be pretty loose with the scheduling on Patreon. There's lots of stuff you can do.
Well, what you could do is promise a lot,
and then
underdeliver. That really works because it builds the publicity. And remember, no publicity is bad publicity. There is no such thing as bad publicity.
It's true. Just look at how Blizzard's doing right now.
Oh, you're gonna get banned. You can't say that.
I can and will.
You're gonna get canceled.
As long as I'm not insinuating some female streamer is sleeping with Twitch staff, we're good to go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're not naming names. There's no names being slung here.
There. It's not even about names. Like I'm serious. That's one of Twitch's rules. You can talk about their rules. That's literally one of their rules.
Here we go. Here's the old one.
Ooh.
Oh.
And here is a new one.
That's immensely better.
Here is.
I don't know.
Okay.
I like the old one.
So there's. I like the old one too.
I prefer the classic map. Give me back the classic rap. No, that looks fucking sick, dude. Like.
Yeah. So this is one. This is one version with lights and a lot of moss added in, and I'm probably gonna do another version without the lights, but I also have to add the moss back in because I didn't do that for the other version, so that'll be easy enough to do. But I'll do one that's like Inkarnate friendly, and then I think I'm gonna do one that's like a little bit more cleaned up. But yeah, that's the map.
That looks really good.
Thank you. So in the next couple days, I'm actually gonna put this in the Discord. Oh my god, I just saw your SNS for life. Nice. Yeah, Fledgling, we are...
Joel can relate to that.
We are huge Monster Hunter fans. In the Discord, in the Maps and Picks section, I think it's Maps and Picks. Yeah, you can see the last one I put in there from last week. So I'm going to put in all the maps that I make for this this podcast-style stream. And yeah, feel free to download them and use them for your own games. Whatnot, whatever you want to use them for. Just the only thing I ask is you give us a shout out when you do so, because it helps us, helps us grow a bit. But yeah, if you're not part of the Discord, I'll put a link here. Join the Discord,
we have a Discord.
And yeah, check it out. It'll be there in the next couple days. Probably not tomorrow because I got to get some stuff done, but probably in the next 3 or 4 days I'll put this map in there. And yeah, sweet. Turned out well, I think. The
Discord takes a lot of boxes. That is an expression I say quite a lot.
Logan loves saying.
I love saying it ticks a lot of boxes.
Well, I think Poster Boy knows that. I think he's making fun of you.
Oh, you talk shit to me? The fuck you say to me?
I don't blame him.
Hey, it's a free map because you guys sat through hours of us talking about garbage. So
40 minutes of Jason and I splooging about Attack on Titan, and then a half hour of Jason. What's the reverse of splooging? I guess shitting on Cyberpunk.
Hey, that's what we do here.
I don't know if the reverse of splooging is shitting, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
Oh my God.
I think that's.
I don't think it's something we need to talk about. Yeah, again, we stream regular D&D. We stream a campaign every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. PST. Currently, we're doing Lost Mines of Phandelver, but eventually, hopefully soon, I'll be going back to my homebrew Sentinels campaign, which is my own homebrew world featuring a lot of these style of maps.
Wait, we were doing a homebrew thing?
Yeah. And
all of Joel's stuff is kind of homebrew.
I'm like mostly homebrew.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think I've ever run a module before.
I don't think you've ever run a module for us at very least. So.
It's not that I have anything against them. It's just that this is.
Yeah, it's different.
I love to world build because every time I see a module, I'm like, oh, I want to change this. I'm change this and change this. It's like, okay, well, I may as well just fucking.
Yeah. No, I get you.
May as well just do it myself, and I get to make maps and stuff. I think if I ever ran a module, I would remake the maps again. In like Inkarnate, I probably would.
You madman.
I would. I'd take that like Castle Kragmaw.
What would you like add to it? What would you change? Let's take Castle Kragmaw. Like, what would you change about that castle specifically?
I don't know. I just add more details and stuff, and like there's no like little like tables and stuff with like food all over it and whatnot.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Like that's what I would do, and it's I don't know, that's just me. Because then when I'm like when you guys go in there, I can kind of explain what's going on. Be like, yeah, so there's some sausages and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll eat the sausage. Oh, there's poison.
I'll use.
Oh no, it's
Idiot.
poison.
Yeah, fun stuff like that. So cool. Well, I think that's good for tonight. Guys,
thanks for watching, everybody.
Guys, got anything to add? Other than thanks for watching, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
11 days until New World comes out.
Oh
So
my
when
God.
New World,
Oh my god.
it has been
Okay.
hours since I've mentioned it.
I thought we were going to talk about it all night tonight, but we didn't.
No, we
Yes,
didn't.
I
We
am
can talk about
excited.
it next time. Tune in for episode 3 of the podcast where we just talk about New World.
Oh my
That's
god.
right. No, awesome. Thank you for watching.
Oh my.
Thank you for watching, guys, and thank you, Fledgling Gamer, for your maps. I'm gonna take a look at those actually in the Discord now that I have time, and we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Bye. I love you.
Bye.